Hours left on a Friday afternoon as we head towards the end of the week. Remember, end of the month, and it's the end of the quarter. We're still positive on the day, so we're looking good as far as 3 weeks in a row for all three U.S. equity markets to the upside. Here's how the S&P is shaping up right now. 0.9, tough to see up there, but 0.9 for the S&P 500. Nice green board right across the entire thing. GNRC on that Bank of America downgrade this morning to a sell, if you remember. 4.5% under pressure all day long, but the industrials group still in positive territory. It's been all about the consumer discretionary names, though, leading the way, specifically retail and some of the travel names popping out so far today to the upside. There's Tesla, Randy, 5% in positive territory right now for Tesla. Ford up about 1% as well. Tech right across the board outside of some of the semiconductors still under pressure. 3.5% for Micron. Remember, earnings earlier in the week were a little bit better than expected overall, but still fell on that forecast that missed expectations. Speaking of downside for the banks today, specifically insurance companies, we're seeing some of the regional banks still holding on to decent gains as we head into the final couple hours here. Communication stocks nicely higher, led by Google, up 1.8%. Netflix here as well, 1.4%. On that note this morning, we're going to get into that again, but if you missed it, they came out and said they're going to shuffle their film division around a bit, cut some costs, get rid of a few executives, make it a little more streamlined. So positive day, nevertheless, for Netflix. Material and energy stocks also rounding things out in positive territory. As always, we'll jump into a bit of a review to kick things off. We'll have a look at what we were discussing if you joined us early on this morning in the pre-market. We talked about a whole bunch of different opportunities. How'd you do? Is there any room for improvement? That's why we're here. Neil is going to lead the way this afternoon with a look at one of his trades from this morning.
Yes, sir. We got the Trade of the Day treat for you here today. Brought to you, as always, by Day Trade of the World. We're going to have some fun with it, though, because my man Maximilian was stepping in for Sean on the other side. Yeah, we could talk about Intel, which I had this morning, or Meta, or something along those lines. But I wanted to show something where he had a great, fantastic long. Now, I was short the stock in a couple of moments. You'll be able to see where I was chipping into Tesla, not the stock I was focused on. But I know exactly what he was looking at and why. And then I can learn something from that myself, and we all can. So let's take a quick look at the daily chart. Sometimes I'll show the 15, but let's set this up with the daily. You have had a pullback in Tesla from a 220 high. You've been making a steady climb, but see what kept happening at 200? Rejection, rejection, higher lows, trending into this wedge at the $200 level. You had this here at about 197. That's an important line. The lower high at that 197, another important line. Now, my entire thesis, I was looking for another couple of longs in the morning. Wasn't really looking for a Tesla long, so I'm not in it early. I said, okay, if Tesla gets to 200, I'll short 200. However, let's go back to that 197 because I know what Max was thinking, and it was a great plan. If you're looking at that break, that 97 area, you had some pre-market action on PCE. You're going to see it jam right in past that 197 mark, and then you get this decent consolidation at the open just beneath. It breaks out off of this 97 level, first dip, jump in, or take the break. It's essentially the same roll. That's where he's getting into the trade. And what I love about it is we were talking about this as I was looking for the short off the 200. It kept giving you scalp after scalp trade, right? You're not really making a decision until it gets in there. You wait for it to get to that price level. If it breaks out from here, it should be carrying through to that 200. It's a Friday. It's an obviously options eligible price, so you know it's going to have some gravity into it. Yeah, you could have scalped short a couple of times in here. I did not do so. I grabbed it once myself, and then it broke that 200 level. So I know Max was in here. He's taken his first outs there. And from that point on, where are you looking at? You essentially have the next price up, that 05, or you're waiting for resistance at 10. So he was looking for that 05. Where is the next level? Right up there at 05. Now, for myself, not being in the long, looking at other longs, I'm shorting the stock at 05. I try the over-under, break, get in, take some as it fails that high. It ends up stopping out. Kind of a tight risk to reward. Once again, if you just short cleanly right in front of 05 the first time, you get the scalp trade you're looking for. But the key thing about this trade is if you're on the wrong side of something, which I wasn't really looking for the Tesla long, you pick your spots, you take a couple of paper cuts. However, you understand that that original almost perfect entry here, 2 exits for Max. The levels where people are looking to make a decision in the other way, and it sets up off that 200 at that 205. Now, you can be excused. I thought it was perfectly reasonable if you're taking some out at the 01, perfectly reasonable if you're taking some out at the 02.5. But you want to make sure that you're giving the stock enough room. I heard him talk about the average true range on Tesla as well as to why he was holding it. And that's why I stopped shorting it till it got to that 5. You knew it had carried through to that level. Lots of good longs to have in there today, but I wanted to show you how you can be on the wrong side of something and have decisions at the same point as someone on the other side of it, and then learn from each other in that realm. Thankfully, I got out of the way of Tesla myself. I want to congratulate Max on an absolute winner and filling in, and that's why it's your trade of the day here. Always check out that QR code below and start your day trading journey the right way with Day Trade the World.
Yeah, so much strength all day long, not only in Tesla, but all of the EV names. Rivian, even, as we saw during the midday there, 6.5% to the upside for Rivian. Fisker having a pretty good day, the entire group, as I mentioned. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you grab that. Use that QR code. Go to watchlist.tradertv.live, enter your email address. Super simple, and then you can have that every single day. Comes right to your inbox for free, has everything on it you need to know every day in the pre-market. Here is the NASDAQ, or the Qs anyways. Day highs right now as we speak, 2 hours to go, and we're taking out high of day on the NASDAQ. Wanted to show you this as well. Aiding in this move for tech is some of the yields coming back to the downside. This is the 10-year under pressure a little bit here this afternoon, back to 3.5 on the nose. Here is the 2-year, same story. Daily candle here has gone red. If you remember, in the morning, it started actually positive on the day. We did have a bit of a move to the upside on the dollar. This is an hourly chart. We are pulling back currently, but did take out that last pivot overall. If you were with us this morning, we were discussing, just a heads up as well, we're getting, as everyone was discussing through the midday there, Williams coming up at 3 o'clock. Or 3:05 as well, coming a little bit later on. We'll get to that in a sec, though. That was a note we were talking about as far as Microsoft and Google was concerned this morning. Essentially, Piper Sandler with a note coming out suggesting that the cost of Microsoft incorporating ChatGPT into Bing when it comes to Google could be as much as $15 billion out of their search business. So that was really the only significant note when it comes to big tech today, guys. But we were talking inflation, we were talking PCE. If you remember, it feels like forever ago. Better than expected on the inflation data this morning.
It was, and when you talk about what happened early on, it wasn't a gigantic move. Fahad is back, by the way. Let's get that one out of the way. Fahad is back. It's gonna be interesting in the afternoon show. I'm not gonna give too much away, but we might have a few characters sitting next to me, and we'll do a little bit of a revolving door here as Sean's taking the day. Long weekend. It's a long weekend for him, which should be a lot of fun. But going back into big tech. I want to talk about Google for a quick second because I'll lean to there. I'll get to like Intel and what worked earlier, and I'll get to Meta, what worked earlier. But something like an Alphabet is going to be an example of what we saw in that initial PCE number. Like, if you remember Alphabet yesterday, like look at the range. Did nothing all afternoon with a 100.5 bottom, and then it very, very late, right at the end of the day, it finally broke out. It got to 101.15. And then it looked like you're doing exactly the same thing. Like it just goes right into that same level. We kind of dip back in. And I'm doing this, for my benefit, just kind of like everybody else's. Oh, look at this.
I'm fasting, brother, and I don't eat pork.
Can we come to the other side? I have to interrupt this right now. Apologies, but Greg just brought me some dumplings. What are these actually called? It's called bao.
Bao.
So do you want one, Brad? I'll share. So he just brought me this. I'm not going to eat it right now because I'm talking, but this looks absolutely delicious. Thank you very much. Greg is our floor manager, risk manager on the floor here.
Yep.
So from that, I'm always eating on the show. It's like it's a thing now. People just bring me food. Back to Google for a second. Okay, so same range that you put in the afternoon, you put it on the early market move. I wish I could say that I was taking this breakout. If you're watching the morning show, I liked Intel and Meta a little bit more for longs off the open. But you pick and choose. I simply waited for this to get to the next level up and shorted 02s into the halves, 02s into the halves, and then it broke out. This is where it gets frustrating because Google finally broke this I'm doing nothing channel and I didn't reverse it. So when I got out was exactly where you want it to reverse, because that's how it goes, right? Like when the shorts give up, that's pretty much where you want to reverse or where you want to pick it up. And then it just did absolutely crazy move to the upside. And so strong move over there in Google. The one I had was Intel. I don't know if I see a trade. Google's kind of doing this weird sideways thing again. Intel was the one I decided to have, had it early pre-market, stopped out in the pre, but that was too early. Let it fail at the open, reestablished 32s. We kind of rode that to 32.6. I've been looking to get back into the trend. It doesn't seem to want to pull back. I feel like I have a better chance of getting NVIDIA on the pullback here, but I'm not the only one who was looking at some big tech.
Yeah, Apple was very interesting. It was actually my first trade as soon as I got on the show. And I seen Apple, and you guys know I'm trading price action only right now. Obviously, I'm still learning. Disclaimer for anyone who wasn't on the midday show, I trade with fake money simulation. I'm learning how to trade. It's my 4th trading session ever, believe it or not. Ever. You can eat. I'm not going to bother. You don't have to talk. But
no, I'm good.
Okay, so this is the chart that I was looking at, and this is my trade earlier. So I was positive. I made only $84 off it. I bought 100 shares or 200 shares.
No,
But
you didn't get me. Did you?
But I came in.
You saw what happened. I saw you flip, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to eat right now. And he made me spill it.
He spilled it, huh?
It's his fault, because he's trying to put me on camera while I'm
Right,
eating.
come on, man. Why are you
I hate when
bullying
you
me,
do
man?
that, man.
Got me. But yeah, so my in right here on the line, you guys see it is on the wick. It's on the very bottom wick of this part. Now, that's not bad. This was a good trade for me. My outs could have been executed way better. Obviously, I'm kind of trading a bit faster than, some people would definitely hold, just out of knowledge. For me, it's not panic. It's just I settle for money. I settle for profits because I like money. So I put all my outs 3 times in a row, got all of them out. I know I shorted it by accident probably, so I got out, flattened out right away. But the reason I did this, I was looking to just buy the dips, which is like the #1 rule in the stock market. Just buy the dips. If you believe it's gonna go long, buy the dips. And I was just watching the trend. The market was up a percent or so. I seen it drop. I put my bid out. I got the wick fill. It went up, sold it, and I could have held, obviously. Believe it or not, the last 5 minutes of the show, last 10 minutes, I looked at it again right here, Neil. It was right here. And I was going to say maybe I should punch in again because it would have been a dip, another dip buy. I had 10 minutes on the show. I didn't know if I was going to keep trading. I said, forget it, but it went up and I would have done well. Is that your order as well?
At the same moment, I got to put my black charts up for you guys. So what I love about this is these are my charts that I kind of have up here that I work off of. I was throwing bids, NVIDIA trying to catch it there, and Apple as well. I didn't get the fills, but like you said, sometimes you get the wick fills. I'm looking to dip buy those as well. I'm looking to dip buy Intel. That's what I like about it. We were talking about this in the midday, how you have so much strength in tech off of that PCE number that you want to be joining trend if you can. Find relative weakness where it is, but mostly join that trend.
Well, yeah, that was my trade, and that's the biggest one of the day so far. Brendo.
All right, let's go on to Digital World Acquisition Corporation. I was just reading through a note on Micron as well. Just be aware, they're making some comments regarding that Chinese investigation. So China came out saying there might be some security breaches in some of the products. They're saying they stand by the security and integrity of the products that they make. So not a big deal at this point as far as movement. Digital World Acquisition Corporation, however, was an interesting move this morning, still holding 6% on the day. A lot of people were considering this as just a fade right out of the gate. It did give you an opportunity to the downside if you missed that news yesterday with former President Trump being indicted in the state of New York. More to come on that probably next week. But we end up just coming back to that high from aftermarket yesterday, that high there. And now we're just holding here, guys, for DWAC, still up 6.
Yeah, I should double check to see how much I paid for the privilege of locates for DWAC because that was a sunk cost. Unless you were willing to short it at 8:15, it's like just before we came on air in the morning show, like at 8:15, 8:20, unless you wanted that short, that is the closest to 15 that you could have gotten. That's maybe the only thing I would have put on it. And it had done no volume at that time. I mean, literally no volume. So that's not even, you're not taking that trade because the spread was 20 or 30 cents on a $14.50 stock. That's nonsense. That means if it breaks 15, like you're not even getting out till like 30 something, 40 something at best. You're risking $1 on a $14.50 short. even if you took it and it won, okay, well, it only went $1 anyway. So, you know, this was I wanted to short the pop. Obviously, the short ends up being right, but it's a nothing burger either way. I think every single time until proven otherwise, this is it's a short the pops. That's what's been working. As long as it's in that 15 as a stop or a stop area, then you want to be shorting it. If it eventually breaks out from here, I think there can be some longs. Otherwise, you can long off 12, it's not going down there. Longs have been off 13, it's not even close to that either. So patience game for DWAC. It's disappointing because overnight I was like, yeah, this is going to go for a run, and I'm just going to try to find a top on it. And then when that didn't happen, I said this to, I was saying this to Max, and I said this to Obi as well. Whenever you're going through like your list, like I have all the stocks I'm watching on my iPad and everything that I prepared for that morning that I know I want to trade at the open, I got the 4 stocks I'm watching the most up in front of me. When one of those doesn't happen for you, jumping to the first available opportunity and simply saying, well, I'll do the thing that I wanted to do in this, which is what I did in AI. About the only reason I'm not going to be upset about today is at least I stopped doing it here. Right? Like I jumped over to AI. It wasn't at the top of my list. I'm like, okay, well, I got the longs I like. What can I short? Let's short C3AI. No. When really I just wanted to take one crack at DWAC at 15. So a lot of times what you prepare for, you should always try to lean on those things. Something can come out of nowhere. However, you should still take the time to sit back, put up the higher time frame, remember the level of short interest, kind of have a feel for where it's going, because if you really look at this, this was not it going out of nowhere and popping up. This was it coming off of a consolidation long breakout, which is a little bit better, right? So it wasn't like trapped or anything. 1 consolidation, 2 consolidations, and then a breakout. It's just going to have a little bit of an easier chance to run. So 2 things I could have done here, not traded at all until I sunk into it, or just simply only traded it once or twice at a key price level off the daily chart. Instead, I traded a few too many times on AI. And it started, this is the key thing, it only happened because I came in thinking I was going to short a pop on a DWAC squeeze, and then when that didn't happen, I looked for another one. Right? So you always want to check out what's the symptom, like why did you overtrade the stock? Not I did it, but why did you do it? So that the next time it happens, you don't do it. So I know it wasn't about C3AI, it was about the fact that DWAC didn't happen, and then I went over and made a mistake in C3AI. So the next time I miss out on a trade, or a trade doesn't go the way I want to, or an opportunity doesn't materialize the way I want it to, I understand that, okay, in the aftermath of that, in the next 20 minutes, I'm going to look for that exact same setup somewhere else, even if it's not there. So just a bit of a lesson here. Like that's my losing stock of the day. You guys can obviously tell on C3AI, and you can always lose from learn from your losers. In fact, that's what you should do.
Absolutely, unless you never lose like me. But let's talk about DWAC. You actually said a lot of things. I promise you that I agree with, which says a lot.
But you just said, but then you just took that entire thing and turned it into unless you never lose.
Well, I mean, did anything you say apply to if someone never loses?
Technically, no.
All right, okay. Anyways, but no, seriously, your DWAC analysis was so when you were talking, I was looking at it, you were saying everything I was thinking about. I don't like this at all, this chart. It looks ridiculous, especially as a new trader. This kind of can get overwhelming, big overwhelming. There is this level, I think you said if it breaks 13, it would be something to look at. I wouldn't even go there. I would probably wait for the 1405s, even 1410 maybe. There's no like strong levels here. It's not bouncing off anything. The resistance can go either way. You can say it's resisting off these bottoms or resisting off the tops to go short. So I wouldn't trade DWAC as a new trader, but I'm looking at a chart and it looks not confident enough for me to trade. So I would not do DWAC. We can move on from Boeing. Yeah.
Thanks, Brad. Boeing, guys, back to the downside here. I was just reading a note on Boeing right now, in fact, about this production guidance that they came out with yesterday. If you remember, this was the high late in the day yesterday, this 212 area. After they came out, they said they're going to bump the 737 MAX production to 31 planes a month. Pretty impressive. Did give you a nice long opportunity this morning out of the gate all the way up to 215, but we're just sitting here right now at this pre-market high. Still positive on the day, but overall uneventful if you look at that number.
So a couple of things. I want to answer a question, but I am only in Square right now. And Jason just asked in the chat, do I like Square at the support level for a long? I wanted support on Square a little bit lower than this for the longs. I know I talked about it being strong stock yesterday, but the short up top's been really good, and I'll get to that in a minute. But I'm trailing it right now because I think it's made a double bottom. I said in the afternoon I would be looking for Boeing off of the open for the long trade. It just... At the time, like Intel was at 32, I knew exactly. Like, Intel at 32 was something I really know I liked that stock at that price. So that ended up being the bit of the focus. And unfortunately, that was at the expense of missing out on the first move in Boeing, and that was it. Once Boeing made the first move up and broke, you either had it or you didn't. And that's like, look, you're either getting this. This is at 8:30 on the number, and then this is it breaking later. Either you've got it or you don't. No chase, it goes to 15, and now it's just done. Maybe you catch a late bid off 11. If anything, I just don't like the way this is flashing to the downside with the ES. ES is reversing just now, and I said it, so let me just go and discuss Square for a second. So, this is basically the same thing that we did yesterday, or in the morning, that I did not do yesterday, I should say. I just picked up NVIDIA. I don't know how much I'm going to like that one. We'll see. But that 70 fail break did the same thing. Let it get above 70, short it into 69, let it get above 70, short it. I actually didn't like it as much, so I took more shares out in front of 70. However, when it broke here, allow it to do something, make a decision at this point. I didn't really like the re-entry to the short, which I suppose was a bad decision, but if it breaks, I'm going to be looking for 68. Otherwise, I'm just trading now off of this level here, like that's 69.25. So to me now, the short is, even though I'm not short here, I'm only short from the top, it's as if I'm short here with that stop. If I get the re-entry, fair enough. But yeah, I'm not really going to be trading Boeing in the afternoon at all.
I quickly went to Meta here because it came down and almost broke the resistance level here, and I made some money back. Did you know I held this? I held this. You want to eat so bad. I held this short this whole time. This is the prime example of not panicking and not just selling. I had my stop losses. I had my levels. I said if it reaches these stops, I'll lose the money. I don't care because I'm up on my other two stocks, which is Baba and Apple. I was okay with that. But I held the short, came back, and I got out flat. So I am up on the day now permanently because of my other two. Baba, I made, yeah, I'm flat, which is good. Okay, if we go to Boeing now, let's go to BA real quick. I wasn't listening to a thing you said, so I can't even relate
There's
to
probably nothing to trade on. We should skip Boeing. I don't see Boeing as a trade this afternoon. So.
If you don't see it, I'm definitely not going to see it. So, Brendan, what do you got for us?
Yeah, if you weren't around for that early push to the upside, it was a bit of a non-event so far today anyways for Boeing. Let's talk BA. We'll add another BA to that BA. Baba. Same thing. We tried to go green early on, but failed miserably up there at 104, straight back southbound after, what a week for this thing. If you look back over the past couple of days, 1, 2, 3 days straight to the upside. Now we're holding 102 off this split into 6 announcement that came early on in the week. We got that logistics then announcement yesterday about the logistics portion of the company could be the first to IPO over in Hong Kong. A few questions this morning from analysts when it comes to the cloud-based business and whether or not they'll bother with it or whether or not there's enough there to IPO that as a separate entity. However, sideways action today, guys, for Alibaba.
Yeah, a bit of a disappointment for. I thought I might have put Baba on my list of things to trade. I was just telling Fahad, like, you pick and choose at the open what you're going to be involved in.
Yep.
And then that just ends up being it. Like, you can't really jump to too many names. It's maybe you can do 3 or 4. I found there are days I used to be in 5 or 6, but that's because I'd be in something that was just like get in the pre-market and hold it, and I would just still be in it at the open like it was in the money, and then you could do a few extra stocks if you're holding that in the money. I just got NVIDIA here just quickly, so I want to get out of NVIDIA 276 half. I don't know if we'll get some out at 1-to-1, but Alibaba's been a tricky trade. Like, I won't sit here and tell you it's been an easy one for anybody the last little bit. And look, when you see this off the open, okay, if you get a quick breakout trade and scalp it, fair enough. Are you hunting out a short that's that far away from 104? I don't know. The only thing that might have been available for Alibaba this morning, I think, was the short, but that's not the level. I said I wanted the short 105. The lower high was the only place to do it. And if you can look at it, it's just heartbeat and sideways. I don't know what you do with that, except stay away. So I stayed away from Alibaba today. Like, there's opportunities here. There's opportunities the day before. So if you lose on it, if you lose trading it when it's giving you opportunities, fair enough. But I'm not sure what the idea would have been with Alibaba. I stayed away. I just did not think it made sense. I do want to jump over to Tesla because it was a good question. Steve G was just asking what I consider shorting Tesla here. I am. However, I want to see Tesla participate in some down moves here. It's just, look how strong this thing is. Like, come on. Like, it is an absolute beast, but it's giving you great risk to reward. And each time I've been in the short, with this exception, I kind of lost like 40 cents on this one, but I've been able to lose less than 30. It feels really, yeah, I should be in it already. I'm trying to talk myself into it, which means wet your beak. Wet your beak, Neil. Got that NVIDIA. I did not get a reload, which I should have probably done there on Square. That would have been fantastic. NVIDIA could stop me out. Apple's not really setting up there. As far as Alibaba goes, are we going to trade it this afternoon when I didn't think it was a great opportunity this morning? The answer is no, because they don't move in the afternoon, and it's a Friday anyways. So Friday, Chinese ADR, it was great all week, but today was the one day you could be excused if you weren't excited about Alibaba, although don't sleep on PDD and JD either.
Chinese stocks, huh? They're different. Correct me if I'm wrong. What makes a Head and Shoulders? Does it have to be symmetrical? No. Would you call this a Head and Shoulders potential?
So, no, not really. And the other thing too is I don't. Look, everyone does their own thing. I actually don't look at a Head and Shoulders pattern on an intraday chart. Like, that's a 3-minute chart or a 5-minute. Like, I look at a Head and Shoulders where you're getting it on separate days. Like, it's either on the daily chart or it's showing up. Like, if I have my 15-minute up, now this is a bad example because there's no Head and Shoulders on Tesla, but if I see it form on my 15-minute over multiple days, then that's fair enough. Right. Or if I see it show up on my daily chart, it can give me a bias for that day. But I'm not, and look, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm not a charter technician or any market technician. I've been trading for a long time, and that's what I find works for me. So if you like looking at a Head and Shoulders pattern on a 3-minute or a 5-minute, I'm not here to tell you that it doesn't work. Right. However, it's not some perfect symmetrical thing. Okay. That's I always love when you see those examples in the YouTube video, and it's like, look at this perfect. Like, you're not gonna see that.
Never gonna run into that.
You're really not gonna see that. Right. So don't even bother looking for that kind of perfection. Okay. It's kind of a general concept. Yeah.
So I'll talk about my previous trade on Alibaba. Actually, it's very interesting. I went long here, and it went against me, but I was playing off the moving averages. Again, this is one of the first things I learned in trading, was just to read the price actions, and it wasn't a bad idea. As soon as it broke my 50 moving average, I waited for this level right here. Now, I'm not going to lie. When it touched this level, I probably should have punched out and took my losses. But I was on meta at the moment, and I wasn't watching my P&L or nothing. So I let it rock. I didn't realize it. When I went back to it, it was back at these levels. But it was trending to the upside. So I said, why should I commit to my stop limit, my stop price that I was going to punch out on? Let me try to go long. And I punched long more shares than I had, obviously, out here. I think I six times my share size, just so I can bring the average way down.
Whoa.
My average did go down, and I got a little 4-cent, 5-cent winner that helped me at least go positive.
But hold on a second.
Yes, go ahead.
So you got into an average for the purpose of bringing your price down. Not because you thought it was a good idea to get in.
No, I did because it was trending upwards. I said, so I wasn't aiming to go flat though. I aimed to go positive.
I just got stopped out of NVIDIA, so we'll get that out of the way.
Okay.
And I reloaded a little bit more Tesla. But, okay, I was about to check the SPY in the daily because someone asked me a good question about it. But if you put Fahad's chart back up, if you decide you want to get into something in pieces, like you have an area of support that you like for a long, let's say it's 102, I'm just going to throw that out there.
Yeah.
You should know if 102 breaks, and like I want to risk X amount of dollars on the trade. Okay. Right? So I have X amount of shares. My slippage would be whatever it works out to. If you want to risk $200 on the trade and you have 1,000 shares, then you want an average price something like 102.15.
Correct.
Right. So if you get into 200 shares early, then you can add 800.
Yes.
Right, and that's part of your plan.
Yes.
But if you're in 100, let's say you're in 1,000 already.
Right.
But you still want to have that average price that we were talking about before. You don't just load into more shares. And all of a sudden you have 5-6x of what you want because now you're going to lose 10 times what you expected to lose on the trade.
So that's exactly what I did.
Averaging in should be a plan that you add ahead of time.
Yes.
Because you should say, I'm wrong here, and this is how much I'm willing to lose, and then it's fine. Get in as many times as you want to get in. I have no problem with that. But it's
as long as you're meeting your size share.
as long as your plan of risk for that trade is fine.
Okay.
And you don't exceed that.
It is what I did.
Okay.
100%. The first.
I'm not sure about that. I'm not saying that to be rude.
No.
Okay.
100%. Because obviously I want fake money, so I'm doing by the hundreds, and my limits is 2,000 shares.
Okay.
That's my averaging in. So I average in per 100. So I was in 300 at this point. And then when I went here, I loaded in all of it because I said it's going to go to the upside. Let me take the chances right now and hope to get that 5 to 10 cent winner and go positive. And it did work, and I'm up 76 bucks.
Okay.
From it. So it worked enough.
But I did want to. There's a head and shoulders in the daily of the SPY. Like that would be an example of one on the long term on the spiders, but SPY in the daily. So thank you guys for pointing that one out. There is still one last thing to talk about on the topics here. Brendo.
Yeah, actually not a bad day. Not only for Netflix, as we saw when we came on at 2 o'clock, Warner Brothers, Paramount, all the streaming names. Pretty good afternoon, really. We're right back to session highs here for NFLX. 1.5% on the day. This was the report, actually after the close yesterday. Bloomberg talking about restructuring of their film division. A few top executives out. They're going to streamline it a bit. Some cost cutting coming into play. Few people mentioning, though, that might lower the quality, but you would think they would take care of that. Anyways, back above that high from yesterday. Nice week as well for NFLX.
This one I was on the bid. It didn't get there exactly what I wanted. It didn't give me what I wanted. I wanted down into here at 36. I was not patient out the first time. Wow, Tesla's strong. I was not patient out the first time on yesterday's trade, and I kind of thought I'd be really patient at the open, and Netflix dip bought and then gave you the breakout, everything you're looking for. So, yeah, it is what it is. It's going to happen to you from time to time, and it's easier to go over the things that don't work than it is. You can sort of gloat about the wins, and it is what it is on that, but I think you should be patient on it, but on the way back up, I should have found my way back into Netflix, knowing that I like that trend. Every single day I've been looking for long on Netflix since it broke that price area. There's some overfills on Tesla, because we've kind of done it now. I know it seems like a strong move if you're watching, like the futures are kind of bouncing here, but Tesla is just going back and forth with 70 at the bottom and about 20 at the top. So it's not a huge range. However, if it's so much, there it is. If it's so much as sniffs out of it, I don't want to be short. And that's all it takes. Like it's not a huge range, but you don't need to be risk past it. So I don't like the long up here. I kind of feel like it's already gone far enough. Like it's already made a big enough move. You've now gone 11 bucks top to bottom, which kind of exceeds like the best like 2 days that you've had in this week. So it does feel like it's a little bit far for me to be chasing this one. The market's only up 1%. I know Tesla can rip faces off. I just can't chase along with Tesla here today. I don't see a trade over there on Netflix. I just want to make an adjustment to my Square in a quick second. And NVIDIA, did you wick me out, NVIDIA?
Uh-oh.
I think it did.
Uh-oh.
That's what it looks like. Yeah, that might have been a bad wick. We were sitting there talking, no, it's a good wick. It's legit. It was legit. Like I'm getting stopped out there no matter what. It's a tight stop, but it's legitimate. But just like Intel, if it reclaims that same support and we rally through the highs of the day, I don't mind re-entering NVIDIA right at the same average, same price, like right around 80s to evens here on NVIDIA. It is holding up a little bit better than, say, like in AMD. AMD's been showing some relative weakness, to be sure. I don't know. Tom Vigor says Tesla will gap lower on Monday. I would not be surprised by that. It is a very big move. And that's the thing. If Tesla does hold this top, I would tend to agree with you. It's probably going to gap down. If it pulls back $3 here, I wouldn't be as sure. So we'll see what happens. We have a lot of time to go here, like 90 minutes to go till the end. We'll see what happens, but I'm not chasing this one up top. I want to find a long like an Apple or an NVIDIA that's giving me a good dip buy. No, Apple's not giving you a dip buy at all, actually.
You don't think so?
I thought you were in Apple.
I liked Apple. I was just looking at that. Why wouldn't you?
I thought you were long it though.
I was, but I took all my profits out right here. Okay. Yeah, I did. See, I would have held. I was talking about it earlier. It should have been a hold. You would have held it. You would have made a lot of money, Neil. A lot of money. But I went 3 outs in a row.
I didn't get the fill. I was bidding.
You put the same bid.
I was bidding a lower price. I didn't get it, so it wouldn't have mattered.
But I think it's still good for dip buys. I don't see. I mean, I did the same thing with AMD right now. I like how AMD's moving. I'm doing this dip buy, and it's very tight levels. But I don't know. Someone put this on for me.
What is that?
No, it's not me. It's not me. Yeah. It's a VWAP that Sharif put on, but I don't like it. If you're gonna scalp, guys, I think this is a good moment to scalp the dip buys. I have absolutely no.
You need to take that indicator off, please.
I'll take it off.
I don't want anybody looking at that indicator right now.
All right.
Please get
we'll
that off
take
your screen.
No, we'll take it off. Better, yeah, guys, trust me, it works. No, it's the Fahad indicator. When you see it do this, go that way, and when you see it do that, go that way. So you'll be good.
There's obviously something wrong
make
with
a lot of
that
money.
indicator. I'm not even sure how you made it look like that. It shouldn't be physically possible for VWAP to look like that. It should not be able to do that.
Okay.
I don't even know what you did. Like.
So look, I just made $4 in AMD, and I'm calling it a day. I'm gonna get out of here. I have a doctor's appointment, my brother.
Oh, you're taking off?
I am taking off. I have a doctor's appointment. So thank you for having me on the show. That was a cool time. I made $4 on AMD. Guys, I'm serious. Apple dip buys, I think it's gonna work. If you just scalp, do the scalping thing where you go in and go out, and just be careful with your money. I hope you guys enjoyed the show for me and the close show. Like the video once again. Remember I told you guys in the close, like this stream. The midday was not the same as this one. So please like this one right here. If we can touch 1,000, I'll be incredibly happy. And I'll go be a doctor, so
Smash it.
Why not? All right, enjoy. You guys will see a new trader soon.
Thanks,
Take care. Easy.
It's always fun. Actually, the interesting thing about it, and I've said this to some of the trainings before, like one of the things Sean and I don't actually get to do as much as we used to, is obviously we're here live on the show, is talk about the markets in the context of like learning lessons and giving lessons. It's something we've done for years. We don't really sit in the classroom anymore, like do lunchtime meetings and sort of discuss trades with traders as often as we used to because we're live here doing it with you guys. So it is fun to be able to talk to Fahad sometimes. And the thing about it is we joke around, but like Fahad's a pretty willing learner. Like regardless of anything that you guys see or hear, and obviously know the jokes that go around, he's a very willing learner, and he does play up to the crowd oftentimes. And I know I'm probably spoiling things by saying that, but it's all good. And like, it is physically impossible for VWAP to look like that in the chart. I have no idea how that. Like, I don't understand. That couldn't have been VWAP. That's what I say. I say that wasn't VWAP. It doesn't work. You can't do it. You can't do it. Let's go back to the market for a quick second here. I'm not necessarily back into NVIDIA just yet. I was just checking out Netflix. Was at a level that I liked? Not really. I was thinking about if I know I like the longs above here on NVIDIA, right? Like it's pretty clear. Like I tried to play the over-under like the other way, like the under-over 77 to go for the long here to break back up. But now that you're holding below, it's a trend break. I was shorting this level before. So I might take a shot. I keep hearing Sharif talk about meta. I'm going to go there in a second. But if we start holding beneath, I might look for the short there. I just might like another chip name better. Like I'm looking at Micron. Like for the love of, if Micron rolls over here, how do I not like this more? That's the only reason I'm not in an NVIDIA short is I might prefer Micron if the market rolls over. How is Micron not flushing to 60 bucks? It's doing nothing. It's weak on the day. I'm going to go for this and then try to get fills here into 61.20. Let's go, Brendo.
You guys are talking AI in general, C3 AI. Here's a couple other ones making monster moves so far today. Here's SoundHound. Yeah, 42% for SoundHound today. 190, it tagged 290 at day highs before a bit of a pullback here. Big Bear as well, BBAI just popping up in front of me here. Day highs as we speak. 22% for Big Bear today.
And then I do
Momo,
Yo.
Fahad's VWAP line had 2 long bounces off it, so it kind of works. I don't know. Maybe, look, whatever. If it works, it works. Obi in the house.
How's it going? What's up, everybody? Got some big shoes to fill today, and thank you for having me on. And it's great to be sitting beside again one of the greats, Neil, man, the myth, the legend.
So it's just me. I'm just a dude who doesn't like pineapple pizza, and I trade a little bit. But it's good to have you, because one of the things that the guys don't know, if you've just watched the show, Obi's like right behind us.
Right there.
So at the end of the day, when we're kind of just decompressing and talking as the lights go off, usually we're talking to you. It's like, oh, saw this, saw that. And we talk to Sean. We'll talk every now and then. It's a pretty good place to sit. It's kind of like sitting in the front of the classroom, which makes you a nerd, which I like. But I'd like to know, it's still showing Fahad's trade, so hopefully he logged out of Sims still in a position. That's hilarious. But what are you looking at right now? I just, for disclosure, I did take that Micron short. I do prefer it to NVIDIA. So I'm short Micron, I'm short Square here. Risk reward to me is favoring a bit of a pullback on a Friday. But what are you looking at? I know you were trading Amazon.
Yes.
Today, but is there something you see this afternoon?
Still pretty much checking out these levels on Amazon. I took some more trades after the midday. Like I see that Amazon is in kind of this channel undecisive 103 churn. So I like that. I'm seeing that like when things aren't really moving and things can get rangy, like I can take pieces off that range, right? So that's kind of what I did here. Again, looking for a decisive move on the markets. We can see that like ES and NQ are still kind of sideways. So like other than that, I don't really have much that I'm looking at right now.
And look, I think it's, wow, position board. Oh, wait, you just switched to position board. So until I take another fill, it's not going to show up. Oh, I know what I can do. I can just find some like out of 10 shares really quick. There you go. It's a bit of a cheat code. I can just punch in and out of something that's meaningless, and then it's the same thing as taking a position, and it shows the position board again, so you guys can know. I just want you guys to see what's up. So I punched in and out of OSH really fast, so it didn't even register, and that stock is a 1 cent spread, so you just kind of whatever. But Micron, I just took. I understand the concept of NVIDIA, and it makes a lot of sense too. I just feel like if this flat bottom break happens and the market rolls over, I like it a bit better. I have to assume it's, I thought you were trading Meta, Sharif. Okay, so yeah, Meta's doing it's doing a nice consolidation. I had a good Meta short on, and then I got out of it. I kind of reloaded, didn't like it, stopped out on a break even there. So the second time, maybe not a charm, but it's now looking a little bit stronger than it was before. It was relatively weak earlier. But all of a sudden, like you resisted that dip, and now you might be breaking out. I just wanted to see it break the zone first. Like it's holding above that 10 now. Oh, Apple's taking out the high. That's what's happening in the market. Apple's taking out the top. Where's Microsoft? Is there a chance to get
almost there?
Microsoft pretty much almost at that high. The ES, NASDAQ all at the highs. What's the name I wanted on a dip? I kind of liked NVIDIA, but the chips are too weak. At this moment, I'm always looking for something like where can you find a long that you still like at a reasonable price? But you might have the one that I like, breaking out here on Meta at 10. I might not see anything better because I can risk it back to 80. What I love about this whole move is while the market retested the high, like Micron didn't even move. It's like 2 cents in the money. It's still 2 cents in the money. It does not want to go up with the market. The chips are relatively weak right now, and Micron is the weakest of them. So I think if you're going to be short, that's got to be it. Maybe we just want Apple on its break.
Yeah, they're saying people are saying Google as well. Did you see Google?
Google was a beast before, but I felt like that one was doing nothing. Was going sideways too much.
Yeah, it's starting to move a little sideways.
No, Google needs to get above 103. Google needs to get above 103 before I'm. It was like yesterday. Like it had to break the even. When it broke the even late in the day, it was good. But until then, it was like watching paint dry. Apple's taking out the tops here. It's got tighter and tighter consolidation at the high. I think if you're going to force something at the top, Apple makes sense. The most here, unless it's like the 210 on Meta, which I'm waiting for right now.
Yeah, this is some pretty strong strength going into power hour. Like, what's your experience with like if you have a strong move all day and then in the last hour of the day, do you think the probability for continuation is like a little higher, or like what are we really looking for going into the last hour here?
So I know it's the end of the month, and that's one of those things that'll maybe throw a bit of a wrench into it too, because maybe it's the end of the month, it's the end of March, so the first quarter is coming into an end. My case is I kind of thought we'd get a pullback into here because you had one of the clearest. I'm going to pull up my ES chart and the black chart here. You had about as clean a trend to the upside. I had my longs this morning, and as far as I'm concerned, like once this happened, I got away from the notion of the long. And now when you're putting in that double top, I do like shorts. Yeah. Primarily. Like I don't mind trying for some scalp trades long and then hold on to a piece for the home run if we do trend for the rest of the day, but I'm still really thinking short off here, and then find me something that's really strong breaking out and we'll go for it. So I just took the 10s that we were just talking about on Meta, so no Apple for me. Went with Meta instead. I feel like I said, scalp trades in here, which means I don't want to hold past 80. I want to try to hold to the high of the day. So we got the long on Meta. Olivia wants me to look at Lulu. Just to let you guys know, my stop's underneath 80 on Meta. I haven't put that in there, so I can't really. I just got the fill. Let me get my stop in. I'll go to Lululemon. I felt like Lulu was going to be a good trade post earnings, And then every time I looked at it, I didn't find anything I liked. So I'm going to get that one out of the way. I'm not sure what it's doing today because I stopped looking at it. I see it's still at 63. If this loads up for a second. So yeah, it's still holding the highs pretty well. The trade I was looking for off the earnings, it was great earnings, but it just kind of went too far away from any reasonable levels to trade, and it didn't give you the shorts up at that 80 level. I did like 55s for an overall dip, like 55s into the 50 level, but oh no, never mind. It probably went close enough that it was a long off 55. Okay, I stand corrected. There was probably a trade if you really, really loved it because it got close enough to what I thought was a reasonable dip buy. This is now rounding out. So you give something a couple of days after earnings to calm itself down. It didn't fill in the gap. It's bouncing off the support that got made, 55 to 60, let's call it, that $5 range. It's a $300 stock, so give it that $5 range. And now you're bouncing back higher. So far, so good. As long as it doesn't gap down on Monday, then I think you might be looking for longs off 55, and then maybe we get back up toward that high. You just want to see how the market reacts to it. There was profit taking for a couple of days in a row on Lululemon, and it resisted a third day of doing that, and in fact is actually going higher, which is what it did not do the last couple of days. Like it ended on the lows. Now it's trying to get off the schneid a little bit. So that's a great sign. But as I said, like if it gaps down to 45 over the weekend, everything I said is completely useless. You have to see confirmation on Monday, and then I would come in looking for some long trades there. So I need to add to Micron because it's starting to go, and my intentions here, like I was talking to Fahad about, well, my intention is to have 61s if 6120 breaks, right? So I can take some at 80, but then I want to be adding here and then adding here, and then I'll be all in kind of with price at VWAP, take some fills over, and I'm stopping at about 6120. When you do that and it starts going, you haven't added in. So I'm looking for a place to add. It could be on a breakdown. I'll be patient to see if the market rolls over more, or just wait for it to come up. I am sitting here at 90. 97 or something like that to the upside, just to see if it pops. If it does roll over 60-50, I would take some out for sure.
Yeah, it does look like the market's kind of turning here, like this 1027 and then kind of toppy on ES and double top on ES. I think you called that out. Now, talking about that Lulu earnings play, like do you think that sell-off immediately after, that's a little bit of profit taking and we're kind of slowing that down, or like what? When something gaps up that much on earnings, how good is the short coming into the first day out of those earnings?
The short's only as good as you're out. And that's sort of the problem. Like the short was obviously good. I saw lots of people in the chat talking about that Lulu short, saying, "Oh, Lulu's going to pull back." I think I said it's likely to give a dip at the open. However, I just wasn't really sure. It felt like it had to be in the 80s. It just kind of went into the middle of nowhere, and I didn't like where it was sitting. Even if you look back, let me just show you what it looked like that day if I can on the 3-minute. Because you come in, and it's up here, and this is 7 o'clock in the morning when it makes a move into 75. And I'm here, and you're thinking about what you want to do when it's at 71. It's like, I can't short that. Like I'm short 71 to 75. If I stop out at 75, shorting 71, and I really think the 80s are where the top is on the move, I'm going to feel like an idiot. So when it starts going at the open, I was like, okay, here we go. It's making the move. It broke the high of the day. I'm just waiting for it to get into the short zone. And I'm not trying to force the trade. And it never really happened for me because that's the pre-market again at 8 o'clock. By the time you get to the open, it's already pulled back, and there was nothing there for me. And you got to be willing to miss the trade. So it was never there. It was juicy, but unless you were willing to put on Lululemon short an hour before the market opens, nobody's. Some people are doing it, but nobody I know is taking a trade on Lululemon at 8 o'clock in the morning post earnings with their actual like normal size. Nobody's doing that.
That makes sense.
Because the liquidity is not going to be there. Like what happens if there's Like, what if they change a number? Like, what if the CEO makes a comment and you're stuck Lulu in the pre-market? Don't think about the downside of your trade as only being, oh, I'm wrong to this level and this is where my stop is. Think about more than that. Because if it's post-earnings and some announcement comes out of here, because you'll see it all the time. It's like, oh, by the way, we're also doing this on Lululemon. We're doing some job cuts, and that comes a little bit after, and the stock goes $10. You can't get out in the pre-market. That's part of it too. What's the environment that you're in? You're trading during a conference call. Your risk is way higher. I was stuck in It was like Wells Fargo, or I forget which bank it was. I was in it during the conference call because it came on in the morning, had a great trade, had my stop. All of a sudden, something got, I don't even remember what the hell they said. All I know is it ran through, my stop trigger did not fill, and next thing you know, like it was out 5 times what I expected, and there was nothing you could do about it.
That's crazy.
And it doesn't happen all the time, but it only has to happen once for you to learn that lesson. That's all I'm telling you. It only has to happen. And if you don't learn the lesson after the first time, then that's on you. You know, so like it's, everybody else is out there. And yes, Lark Moto, yep, Fed Speaker Williams we have in a little bit. As I said, it should be a scalp trade on Meta, and if I'm doing a scalp trade, I shouldn't be waiting for 50s. I should be trying to take something, it's the dimes and the 20s. I should be taking 2 dimes on this trade because it's almost 3 o'clock, because Meta's been in a tight range. If I'm really only risking like 20 cents, why am I not taking anything out when it goes 20 cents? So it kind of usually goes against the way I like to think about these moves. So let's go, Meta. I just canceled to kind of make the spread there. It wasn't filling, so 20s weren't filling. So you pull, or it's a weird thing. Pull your order. When it gets through 20, then hit 21. It's kind of, I don't know, it happens. But anyways, so Meta's starting to go to the upside, but I'm really liking this Micron, the way it's not going up in this. So, Meta's going up, Micron does not want to creep at all. Like, let's say Williams turns the market. Like, this is just holding up. This is why I liked it over NVIDIA, because if the market flushes, how can this not work is the way I want to think about it. It makes all the sense in the world. Like 3.5% to the downside, god-awful quarter, sold off on the daily chart, rejected the initial move on the daily chart, weakest name in the market that I can find that isn't like Bed Bath & Beyond. I'm sure there's something else out there too. But yeah, until it gets to 59, I'm looking short when it sets up for Micron. So that's going to work. We'll see how far Meta can go. I don't know if you've gotten anything, but I'm starting to reconsider my Apple long at the top. I did get Meta. I don't know if I want this dip buy. And only because by the time I get that fill, it could be right at 3 o'clock. And
that's when she's speaking.
Yeah, there's certain times that you don't necessarily want to be getting into position on a support level, on an economic number, or like on like the Fed talk or whatever it might be. If you're already in something and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to let it move up and I'm going to take profit there, or I'm going to reload because I'm already in the money, those are different trades. But getting run over into one of those,
that's definitely a bad habit. And I kind of learned that lesson, I think it was a couple weeks ago, where I think somebody was talking, I was in the trade, I was kind of chasing the trade, and some news comes out, all of a sudden Amazon rips like 50 cents to $1, and I don't have my stop in, I don't have anything in, and I'm like, oh, damn, like that's an expensive lesson to learn, right? It's I definitely agree with that.
But always have your stop.
Yeah.
Like you'll see me, every now and then you'll see me like fumble to talk, and that's because I don't want a keystroke on my stop order. A lot of times we'll sit there doing our keystrokes, and I'll be staring at the camera, I'm talking, you guys are talking to the chart. And there's other times where it's like, don't screw up your stop order because it's a pretty tight stop order, and you don't want to punch out of it right now. Get your stop. If you mean to have a stop order in, it's the first thing you do. A lot of times, like a breakout will happen, you get a good long, you're like, oh, where's my take profit? No, where's your stop? Because you never know what can happen in a given moment. See, like I just missed an out on Meta up there. I wanted something out in front of the 40s. I did not get it. Just going to stick here at 38 and see if we can get it. I didn't get anything out there up on Meta. So far, it has been so good. I did mention in the chat, but not to you guys verbally, that I've just been moving my trail. I do not need that on Square. Just moving my trail. Don't need it to be that aggressive. Like 69 here is pretty reasonable. I mean, if it breaks 69, fair enough. At this point, because I haven't found a re-entry to the position, I might as well just give it to the low of the day and keep moving my trailing stop.
Oh, Square's open. Okay, yeah.
It was my intention to get back into this trade, but I missed my shot here. So I haven't really found because when I miss this, I'm really looking for VWAP every single time. That's just kind of what I look for, like something underneath VWAP, and it just didn't get there, and then now it's at the low of the day, and do I want to short the low when the market's at the high? Not really. Franz, better to use trailing stops or steady stops?
Right. I kind of wanted to ask you. You talk about trailing stops sometimes. Like, do you use them in in what type of scenario situation would you think those are warranted?
Lesson number 1. I'm not an expert using trailing stops. I have this conversation with Arun all the time, and I know he uses trailing stops. I've been trying to learn from him because it's not really something that I would do. So I put a trailing stop in when something's now deep enough in the money that I'm like, I don't really have any levels down here except for like literally the low of the day or the next level on the daily chart or something. But you're deep in the money. I don't see re-entries. So I will find a technical level and I'll just put my stop at that level. Like to me, it's like, okay, where is it going to reverse trend? And then go. So if I think Square has a chance to reverse trend and get back to VWAP, like where is it going to explode? I'll just kind of slap it at 69, give it a chance to get to the pre-market low. Can't believe I just said that. And then give it a chance to the pre-market low, knowing that it's a reasonable approximation. Now, Arun usually tells me that I should put it out here, sort of make sure it's going through, or even just get it out at like 69.30. However, there's only an hour left in the day. So I like having a tighter trailing stop, and I only ever do it if it's deep in the money. That's the case, because a lot of times you use it. Like I didn't put a trailing stop here, and I felt like that was a mistake. If I had let it go, like I wanted to hold it to this level, but this is where if I make a decision, allow it to break this and put a trailing stop in, or it has to get back above 50. It then holds 69.5 because its top is at 70, right? So if it holds 69.5, breaks that, I could have just given it some room in there, put a trailing stop in once it breaks this, I likely move it to there, then I'm out at 69 instead of 69.30. But that's like semantics there, to be honest with you guys.
You're just saying that like when it's in the money, you probably would have taken your profits there already, but it still looks kind of heavy in that situation. Yeah. So you take some and then you put the trailing on the rest just to see where it might go, and in case it comes up too much, you're out.
Exactly. It's more like a position management thing. Just a couple of notes there. Still not getting these fills on Meta. If you're not watching the level 2, sometimes you don't necessarily see what's going on, which is it's now wicking 30s and everyone's selling at 25. So the next time it gets up here, yeah, like it gets to 28 and then someone jumps in at 25. So I just kind of joined. I just took some out there as well. So we'll get some out of Meta. I don't know, it's not that great of a trade. Tens to quarters here. But that's pretty much all it's giving you at this point. So you guys, what's moving right now?
Microsoft. Microsoft is pushing for new highs right now. Apple's pushing for new highs. NVIDIA is actually pulling back towards 275. I mean, that's the only one that's kind of giving relief.
Chip short.
The other names. Chip shorts? Yeah. Yeah, I like that. But I don't know. What's your opinion on like NVIDIA potentially becoming the leader of the markets? With their AI, with their foot in AI right now, like I think that it might come to that.
Well, there's and I'm gonna probably butcher the actual statistic because I don't really know it off the top of my head. But back when the Four Horsemen were a big deal, and so if you looked at like the top 10. So I'm talking about like the early 90s to the late 90s to the early 2000s when you had the Four Horsemen in tech, and if you looked at the top 10
who were the Four Horsemen?
The Four Horsemen was Oracle, Microsoft, Intel, and
Yahoo.
No, Cisco maybe. Okay. Yeah, we'll get to Brendan in a quick second, but yeah, so the Four Horsemen were a big deal, and the question was if you looked at the top 10 in market cap during that reign, and then fast forward 15 to 20 years, which one of those big cap tech names was still one of the biggest cap? And the only answer was Microsoft. Every other one had been replaced. So when you ask yourself that same question, and we did this 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, what do we think if you had to pick all the FANG names, which one do you think is still going to be in 15 to 20 years one of the top 5 or top 10 in market cap? It was only one last time. Yeah. So when you look at it, at least 1 or 2 of those names are not going to be the biggest companies in the world. So NVIDIA is kind of moving into this realm, and it does make sense that one of the chip names is going to be there in like 10 years. And it makes sense that it would be NVIDIA to me. However, who do you think's not going to be there? We've already seen Meta take a bath a little bit to a certain extent. And then who else is it? Do you think it'll be Softy? Do you think it'll be Apple? Do you think it'll be Amazon? A lot of people would say Amazon.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think only some of those are in similar businesses. And why I like NVIDIA is like they're catering to almost everybody right now, right? They're the guy who everyone's going to be like, oh, I want your chips so that I can have the best AI, I can have the best ChatGPT type of service for their business, right? I mean, it is for now, like we're at like it's more of like AI's in like it's kind of like embryonic stage. Like we haven't even like been born yet of what AI is capable of. So
embryonic. That is your word of the day. Nice. I hit it, Pratt. I didn't mean I had to, but it doesn't get used anymore, so I wanted to use it. But we need to get to Brendan because apparently Williams is talking and also happening now.
Yeah, all afternoon we're getting these comments coming through. Collins actually, well, I mean a few minutes ago, with some comments. But into the final hour of the day we go. Remember, we're wrapping up Q1, guys, at the end of the session here. So a few things of note here. This was this morning. If you missed it, the Fed's preferred inflation gauge, PCE, comes in lighter than expected. And if you dig into this report a little bit, the personal consumption expenditure index, 5% in February, the lowest since September of 2021. Still a long way to go, but 5% here. The red line is PCE inflation, core PCE inflation, 4.6. You take out food and energy. This is where they want it, down here. So a long way to go, but you can see we're heading in the right direction, which has led to a pretty nice rally this afternoon, led by tech once again. 1.25% for the NASDAQ, a full 1% right now for the S&P, 0.82 for the Dow. But all three going to wrap up the third week in a row in positive territory for U.S. stocks. So a nice look overall. Crude 1.4 there, some positivity left over in crypto land to end the week as well. What a day it's been here. Tesla quietly 6% now, just testing day highs as we speak, 207.50, leading all of these. Here's Rivian, now 7%, also back to day highs. But all the EVs, guys, still the place to be if you're long today. Back over to you.
The place to be is right here. That's where it is. Because we see the market booming. We're now over at 1%.
Blasting
yeah,
off.
if it wasn't going up, it's going a lot before. It is now.
Oh, yeah.
You're through that. It's so fast. Like there was all that selling happening that I joined at like 25 to 30 on Meta. Now you're breaking through the high of the day. At this point, it's just kind of clear sailing to the upside. Maybe we can get a 2%er. We'll see. I did favor the shorts. I have my trail outs in a few cents on, maybe not quite a few cents on Square, but a few cents nonetheless. And I did get, no, I did not get more shares of Micron. Really? Really? Oh my goodness, Micron, really? It still doesn't, I thought I was going to get filled. Like market's pumping and I can't even get filled at like 97 on Micron. It just continues to reject. Do I have to, I'm just going to get, maybe I'll just take 90s, I guess. I want to, this is the one. Like if the market's coming down, you find a chip name. Everything else, you kind of want to look for those longs. Apple is absolutely booming at this particular point. So whether you have Apple, whether you have Microsoft, whether you have Meta's okay, but I would tend to think if you're in Apple, you're doing a little bit better. Checks notes. Yeah, it's probably true. Maybe it's not that much different. Okay, fair enough. I think Apple's a better long, but I happen to be in Meta because I like that trade a little bit better. I like the price I was getting. But Apple absolutely booming. AMD delayed move I just saw from Chris J in the chat. Yeah, so AMD's strong. Oh, AMD's breaking. I kept getting in and out almost flat on AMD and just not liking anything I saw because it wasn't moving enough, but it is making a delayed move. This is the only chip name that's kind of bullish and would make sense because it dumped the worst in the morning, so all the selling probably got done, and now it's trying to break out. Maybe a 98 breaker on AMD is going to be in play here. I might like that. Thank you, Chris J, for pointing out AMD. I tend to look at NVIDIA in Intel if you haven't. If you've been watching the show, you know I pretty much trade Intel and NVIDIA, Micron when they have earnings, and AMD when it's like just monster levels, like 100, I'll probably play AMD, and mostly that. It is Power Hour. I have no idea if Williams has said anything. I haven't seen anything big across the wire, but you do have to watch out. We are going to be a little bit headline driven. So far, the market just loves the PCE print that we got, and we've been trending all day long, so we're at the highs of the day.
Yeah.
We got the bull there. I don't know why the troll is doing whatever the troll is.
I don't know what's going on over there. But
I don't know who did that, and it's like, oh, Fahad did that? Why am I surprised? Of course Fahad did that. I knew Fahad. I could have just guessed it that it was Fahad. That's just, come on, man. The poor bear. The bear has been putting in work today.
Congratulations!
Like, seriously, you got to respect the bear. Don't have the bear doing that to the troll.
yeah, it's
Or the bull, sorry. I kept
bull,
saying bear.
the bull.
The bull, I mean.
The bull.
The bull's putting in work. Bob is shorting
Definitely
my
the
first
bull putting in
rodeo.
work today.
Oh, Darwin, no.
Now
What would you get?
this move here that we're doing, like, would you say this is a little too hard, too fast, or we're kind of just in anticipation of like what the speaker might come out with?
No, I think we've been coiling into this. And I mean, like we were talking about this before, like the market pulls back and Apple was double topping, right? So Apple was trying to get through the high when the market was putting in a lower high. And now Apple's breaking out the top. It's just the big weight names are making their move. And at the end of the day, like you can't really say it's too far, when Apple's been as strong as it is. Like Apple, the other thing about Apple too, and maybe my daily chart's not going to look that great because of the wicks, is if you look at the next, like this is it, the next level up is here on the daily in Apple, and then it's air to 170 to 170.
Yeah.
So Apple's been on one consolidating. This is not, like 165 is big. It feels like we should just get there. So I wouldn't consider we're slowing down until you hit the next level of resistance on one of these big bad boys. So I'm holding on to Meta. I'm still going to try to add to Micron because I can't believe it won't even go up a cent. That stock is just an absolute dog. Why isn't Mullen flying? I think you guys can figure that one out. I'm just looking at the chat and reading some of the questions. About to get stopped out in Tesla. I got stopped out in Tesla short, so.
Yeah, I just got an alert for NVIDIA 276. That's
76?
276, yeah. It's coming down, is it?
It is coming down a bit.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Short the chips.
I mean, yeah, you're right.
Except
Short
for
the
AMD.
chips.
Except for AMD.
Neil knows. Yeah, I was waiting for the 275 actually to come in. That's why I had the 276 alert. But yeah, it does kind of look like it's not doing what the rest of the market is doing, which is very interesting.
I'm wondering why I don't see you. This is where you can get away from yourself. I'm trying to hold this Meta, but it's starting to curl back in. I don't think if it plays back below the highs, I should be getting out. I might get out if it plays back. Like the previous high was 50s. If it can't hold 50s, I might get out of that one. You might not want my opinion on Carvana, Samir.
Yeah, they've been asking you to review Carvana for a while now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's been a few people.
So basically, the way it works in the chat is it's a lot of times like when you're talking and trading and thinking of convening your thoughts, I'll glance up and look at the chart when I get an opportunity, the chat when I get an opportunity to, and then sometimes I might whip. It's like every time someone asks about Carvana, I might be doing something else, and then I look up and I see a different stock that people have asked about a couple of times. Oh no, wow, Carvana looks pretty good today. I haven't looked at this today. Yeah, but 250 break. Why wouldn't we not be long 250 on the break? That's the question I'm asking myself. 50-period moving average, stair-stepping up, making higher lows, decent potential for a breakout. Short interest is still 20-something% or whatever it is. No, it's more than that. Just bear with me here because this is why I didn't do this on C3AI this morning. So if I didn't look at the short interest, I'd be an idiot right now. What the heck happened to Flow Checker?
Oh.
That was weird.
There
you go. That doesn't usually happen. We're not affiliated with FlowCheck or anything like that. It's just a great website. Yeah, 50% short interest. Why not long 950 break? Maybe because the volume's not that high. So it's going into here on light volume, on incredibly light volume. That's the case against it is the volume up here being absolutely non-existent. That's the case against the 950 break. Everything else about it looks really, really good. So it gets good, but it's not great. So if it starts picking up volume above 950, I reserve the right to say, I'll just go long after it breaks, but I'm not taking the break. So I'm not taking this break. However, if I see enough volume above that price, I would go long above it and just set a stop at like 35 or something like that. But I'm not entering it because there's no volume right now.
So what you're saying is you wanted to break the high and then kind of like do volume above it, and then you want to take it, or you're just gonna?
Oh, I want to join the move, not make the move.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not I pretty much always would prefer to join a move than make a move.
Right.
I just find as a trader, it's easier to make that trade. Right? Like, what's the lowest hanging fruit? Like, what is the thing that you can eat with more repeatable? I find a stock that looks pretty good, but there's nobody else paying attention to that level, no action off that level, so let's see it go. Well, I mean, if nobody's trading around that level very much, like if it was doing volume, a bunch of people jamming shorts in here and kind of crazy action, level 2 heating up, then fine, there's something there, but nothing is happening on the stock right now at that price level. So I'd rather join it and see if we can have it. I do see Lucky Cheese, a flat top on Meta. I'm keeping my eye on it. I am about to put a trailing stop, not really wanting it to break down, and then thinking if I get trailed out, I should be able to get back in on a break. I might just go to that, and I'm about to get more shares of Micron. I keep saying that, and I keep not getting fills. I see Williams has said GDP will contract slightly this year before rebounding next year. Those are pretty solid comments. I mean, find me anybody that doesn't think we'll get some GDP retraction in the back half of this year, and everyone kind of thinks the same thing. But an early rebound would be a good sign. That means even if you think we're in a recession or going into one, it would seem that Williams would be saying it's short duration. But I'm just kind of reading into the lines that I'm seeing over here on my Twitter bot that were coming through. Nothing gigantic has happened. So if I see something that's really big, probably Brendan's already coming with it anyways. But that little note's all I saw. Expect inflation. Williams expects inflation to fall to 3.25% this year. That's bullish.
A little bit. Yeah, that could be what's running this, right? Look at these spikes.
That's bullish.
Yeah. I'm kind of trading this trend on Amazon. Like I like that we've kind of rejected. Like I've taken this trade a couple times, and like I don't know how well it's going to work each time, but like you see that this range that it's in, while the rest of the market is kind of popping. That's why I kind of didn't trust it. It snapped up to the 103.10 and then just didn't really have continuation while the market was kind of pulling off. So I don't know. When the market kind of pulls down, I expect this to come back kind of into the bottom of this trend. Like you said, this has happened a couple times already, so I'm kind of taking that trade again. Would you consider that like on a day like today, when we're kind of like before this kind of rip happened, we're kind of just like chopping around, taking that range on the chop? How often is that like a repeatable strategy and like profitable strategy?
You know what, to be honest, it's actually quite repeatable. I mean, you guys probably see Sean do it all the time. Like you just have to be really aggressive.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing. That's probably why I don't do it enough, is because I'm not nearly as aggressive with it. You're staring at that level too, you're in, you're out, there's your 20 cents, bang, 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 back and forth. That's not necessarily my style on a bigger cap name, so I tend to not do it very often. But it's there for you. You just have to be really quick, be very decisive. It's also difficult to do that when you're, like I find it more difficult to do it while you're talking. Meta's now broken the top end, so I have my trailing stop out now that the high's gone. Ponzi, Fonzie, I'll shout you out there. Didn't I just shout you out? I thought I did, man. I don't have the bang key. I would give you a bang. There's banger longs. I know Sharif has, well, I guess we're both in, you're in Meta, right? Yeah. Yeah, so Meta's booming to the upside. He's got the 71 long. I actually didn't get into it till it took the 10 level. The 71, obviously a better fill off VWAP there. Hopefully Fahad in his sim account didn't log out, still in position. I think he did. What was his position when he logged out? He was still in position when he logged out.
Was he? Oh,
I would kill to know
what was his entry. What was his
entry?
I
don't remember. I actually don't remember, but he was in something when he logged out, which would be pretty funny. So Meta's good. Micron is still somehow flat, which is a pretty good sign. I know you're in Amazon to the short side.
Yeah, I'm keeping a close eye on this tape because like I know where we are relative to the rest of the market. Yeah, but if this does start to rip, I kind of want to be one of the first ones to get out, I guess, maybe. I don't know how you feel about that. Just when it's doing relatively less strong and the market is strong, like is it going to pull back more when the market pulls back, or like if the market's strong enough, it could just break and rip really hard?
It could break and rip and go really hard.
Yeah.
Because
like that's what I'm kind of like scared of, I guess.
Also remember, like that short's not off. Your short's not off the high of the day. Your short's off consecutive lower highs.
Right.
So if you're trading it, if you're scalping it off a 3-minute chart, and also just trade off the price. Don't trade off the price you have. Trade off the area that you're trading around. So a lot of times, what'll happen here is like you'll get, if you're in this move and you get a bad price at like evens, let's just say, I don't know. Oh, you're at 06. That's not bad. But let's say you had 03 or like flats or just slightly beneath it inside of the range. Well, you need to be covering on south of the 3s on the way to VWAP. You can't worry about how much you're taking just because you happen to be not have a perfect price. Like you gotta get out when the getting's good if you are scalping it. But I don't know if you're giving that one to the high of the day. That does feel like risk reward. That could be too much.
Yeah.
As a scalp trade, he was not short Meta 209.75. Was he really? Was Fahad short Meta 209.75 when he left? No, I don't think that was the case. That wouldn't be good. Definitely wouldn't be up if that's the case. It's not very good at all. Tesla, what did it do? Oh, Tesla to 208 and back in. I like the shorts. I like the shorts I'm in. I'm not going to force that one. He was long AMD. That's right. He was long AMD. So it's good. He's fine. I got stopped out of an AMD short. I got stopped out of an AMD long. Didn't like either. Went over to Micron. AMD is strong. Oh, it's breaking that 98. Good. Look, what was his price on AMD? Does anyone remember? 97, probably somewhere. Maybe he traded it when I was getting out before we came on the air. No, it was after. He was probably long here. 97.60 is my guess. He's probably long 97.60 with a stop at 20, so he's taking some out at 8s. 98 long isn't that bad. Do I like something better is the real question. By the way, Apple 165 is going to be, we're going to get to 165 on Apple.
I think that could be decisive.
I think it's decisive. That's why I want to hold Meta till hopefully we get that 211 level. I think we can get Meta up to 211. He's not really responding the same way Apple is right now. Nvidia is starting to come up though. If you like the chip short, Nvidia is coming up to this 77. Like if you wanted to scalp something, that's pretty reasonable for a scalp trade. This is where it gave it up before. So that could give you a scalp trade. I might take an Nvidia just in and out quickly if I can get it.
Yeah, this Amazon is kind of pulling back up towards that previous lower high. So like I'm keeping an eye on it. Like if it does break, I'll get out. Risking about like five pennies from where we are right now. So I don't know. We'll see. The market is definitely strong. Like we're continuing to make multiple green 15-minute candles going into almost 40 minutes into the close. So which is very interesting. The relative strength on Amazon here. I think I'm gonna just get out of this for now because I don't like the way it's doing this.
Why is the market in a hurry? Says B Star. The market does what the market wants to do. The market is definitely pumping. This is one of those days where it wouldn't surprise me if we got to 2. I can't wait to see the early look on the imbalance at 330 because when you get a month end into a market going 1.5, sometimes you just see a couple billion on the buy side, and then it just gets a lot easier to kind of buy at any price. I want to go back to something that we haven't even talked about at all. So Rivian's up like 8% or 7.5% today. And if I don't look at this one on Monday, I'm going to be very pissed off at myself. This was easily, you know, I talked about Netflix, but I didn't even look at Rivian. It's one thing to miss a trade you were looking for and didn't get filled on or didn't get your price. It's another thing to not look at the stock in your morning preparation. So I didn't, no, it's true, right? Like it's,
right.
I didn't look at Rivian in my morning prep. And forgetting the fact that it was breaking out of this channel, which it had been in forever, you're long until the 50 period at this point. So, okay, you get a consolidation day. Still strong yesterday, but kind of a consolidation. Gives you the bottom. Yesterday's low was 14.25. You have opportunities in the pre-market dipping into it. You have a clean breakout trade off of that. You have the break of yesterday's high. I mean, you basically have 3 separate entry prices if you're actually staring at the stock at any point during the day. And now you're kind of lazing around at the high and look at it go. This is still good till 17, so that means it's in play next week off the 15 level. So make sure I have that one written down. Did I do that? Just checking my iPad. Why do I have no idea like how to change. I don't really use Apple products, but the iPad they gave us here that I use to put my levels on, it's always going to sleep. And then I have to put in my code just to unwake the damn thing, which is a pain in the ass. All I have is a damn notepad with my stocks and levels on it. That's all I use it for. I don't need to lock it.
I mean, I think you can take that off, no? In the
Yeah,
settings?
but I don't know how to do that. I want someone to do it for me.
I can help you with that.
Okay,
Yeah, no worries.
What are you laughing at? What's so funny? I don't use Apple products, bro. I don't use Apple products.
Yeah,
I own Apple stock. I don't use Apple products. Let's go.
I like that. Definitely. You're more of a PC or a Mac guy?
What's interesting is my entire family. I grew up using a Macintosh computer. When I was like 8 years old, my dad had a Mac.
Yeah.
I was using that. I was playing like Mac games, like, oh my goodness, like Dark Castle. You're an actual Mac guy if you know Dark Castle from the 80s. It was like one of the best games. Strategic Command I played on the Mac. It's just that, you know, like when I went to university, this is how old I am, you couldn't use Macs. Like everything was PCs. So I made that shift, and then it's just I never went back, and I'm an Android guy. I just got NVIDIA. I said I would scalp it, and it's like, why do I even bother? Why even scalp it? Just hold on to your longs. This is at 77. It's testing it now. It's kind of giving the over on this 77 level on NVIDIA. Yeah, this could be one of those. It failed here before, but will it fail here again in the midst of a big market, or am I just going to lose 20 cents on the trade? So let's go. It just gave the overfill, so now I'm in. everything at 90s, and I want to risk 20 cents on the trade. So you guys can probably figure out exactly where I was stopping on this thing. NVIDIA is strong. What's interesting about
Bounce
it?
off the 276 right there.
Yeah, but you know what's stupid about this? You had the 76 level. What's dumb about this is I'm shorting this pop in NVIDIA, risking 20 pennies to try and make this range. Let me get some bids out just in case it flushes. But what I could just be doing is chilling out in more shares in the Micron short. Well, I just stopped out NVIDIA. I could have just added to my Micron short as the market's going up. Where's this going? Literally nowhere.
Nowhere.
Literally nowhere.
That's crazy.
You can short that at will. Here comes Meta. Meta just got to 211, so the trail's gonna. I'm moving my trail on Meta. Definitely going to be taking this out if it can't hold the 11 level. We just got to 165 on Apple. I'll double check Tesla in a second, but I'm going to do what I just said I should have done, which is find my way into more Micron. I like it more and more the less it moves. That short. There's no other short that I should be in. I'm trailing Square other than Micron. So to the upside, everything. AMD finally going. Congratulations if you grab that one. That's the only chip name that was strong most of the way up here. Everything else was kind of lagging. So good look for you if you got that AMD. Mr. Westermeyer, do I think we'll get a Bed Bath & Beyond squeeze? First things first, I'm out of Meta. Second thing, not really. Not at all. So by the way, I didn't get my 50 short on Bed Bath & Beyond. There was a miscommunication. So I usually process my own paper shorts. I asked Brankles to do it, but I think I mistyped it. And then I thought he was doing it for me. I didn't do it myself. So I thought I had them. And then I tried to go short at 50. I didn't get it because I didn't have the locates. And it did flush.
That came in real hot. Once it did break that 50, yeah.
You have to have your stop and just get whatever you can. Cross to 48.5 and just take whatever you can get, and then it just keeps going down. I don't think we get a... I mean, look, you're probably going to get a squeeze at some point. Not here, though. Like today, now, no. No. But, I mean, at some point, you might have one last-ditch effort for this not to go to zero and make one last move. That could happen. It'll make that one last gasp. You know when the villain at the end at the movie, like you think he's dead, and then then all of a sudden it's like, they're still alive. It's all cliche. There will probably be one of those for Bed Bath & Beyond, but that's all it will be. So it could happen. I just don't know.
Like that dollar rebreak, potentially, maybe, hopefully.
Oh, a dollar might
could be. Yeah, I don't know. Well, speaking of squeeze, take a look at these futures. Like these are straight up. Like
it's squozing.
It's squozing. Squozing, nice. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Fod's nickname should be Brankles, Broken Ankles. That's jokes.
You guys are cold with Fod. Yeah. By the way, I did ring the register on Meta. You'll see I'm no longer in it. It didn't hold the 210 level, and we are going to get that imbalance look. If we trend in the last half an hour, there are ways to join the trend. You can take breakouts and consolidations, and yeah, we're still on the lower high in Tesla.
We're like slowly melting up into the close, which is crazy. Like,
look at Tesla right now. Look at Tesla. It's just lower high, holding. Now it's doing that barcode where the market is just absolutely screaming. But it's because Apple's getting to 165. This is the other thing. Apple already got to that level. That's a big level on the daily for Apple. So if there's a bunch of sellers here at this top, right when we get the imbalance numbers, I just want to have taken my profit and then look for the next trade after 330. So that's going to be my goal here. I might think about a Tesla short just because it looks like it's a little bit weak. But I'm not going to force that action. I'm going to try and carry this into 330. I haven't really heard anything from Brennan outside of Williams, what we originally gave you on the GDP. So I'm going to imagine nothing crazy was said. Certainly some of it was bullish. That's why you're getting a good move to the upside. So congratulations to the longs. It now feels like you want to get that last effort to find those final trades. So Meta strong. NVIDIA did reject. I should have held on to that, but I felt like I'm in the right one with Micron anyways. But Tesla does look like a rollover here. We just keep pumping higher, and Tesla's not going. So this will be my last Tesla trade of the day. Very likely. Almost certainly. Very possibly. But yeah, I can't not take this trade. It will not break the high when this market is screaming through the top. Yeah,
I think, who was it? Franz K asking, how about Rivian short into the close? Let's take a look at Rivian. Yeah, no, this looks pretty strong here. I don't know. I think we talked about this a little earlier in the midday show. Yeah, look, it's coming into these previous resistance areas. So like, yeah, if we can break those, we could get continuation. I don't know, but it is pretty strong today. It did have news a couple days ago with the Amazon. It had news with Amazon, right? They actually have vehicles on the ground now for Amazon. So some positive outlook for this company here. But going into the close, shorting this, I don't know. I don't want to. I get a little antsy when shorting the front side of things. So this is definitely looking like a front side on bullish action. So I don't know about shorting that into the close.
Hey, look at that. Tesla's actually going a little bit. So in pure scalp mode, just because I like Micron better. I had the opportunity to add more Micron there, and I didn't. So the first leg out, I'm going to get Tesla at the support level. And again, you can call the first part a scalp. It's just make a decision when there's a decision to be made. And at this level right here, where it was going barcode at 206.65 to that top, 207.40. So the last time it was here, it spent an hour in that price range. So you better believe I'm taking some off if it goes back down there, right? And so it bounces off the same support level that it had before. Take the first out, be happy. Not every short has to flush all the way down. The market is still screaming to the upside, guys. So that's what's happening there. I think we had the right out in Meta. That actually went over under 11 again. So once again, Meta has given up that 211 level. Apple is at that 165 and still unable to break it. This is why I'm looking for them shorts. Micron is starting to roll over here. This might get ugly on Micron. I'm not even bidding they're bidding at 50s here on the 80 short. I might get a little bit more aggressive the closer we get to the close, but wow, Micron on that entire move, it just did not move a bunch. Like, this is what you should look for. If you have to be counter trend, you don't have to be counter trend. Usually you can find something like that, and then that's going to be your better opportunity. I know you're in that Amazon, or you still in
No,
Amazon?
I got out because like
good call.
I wasn't convinced on like I thought it was going to come down, but that strength was not convincing for a short. So that's why I definitely got out. And as you can see, it kind of broke that previous top, and now we're testing day top. Like I definitely should not be risking this till there, and I can reassess for a better price over here. That's what I'm learning, to really fight for the price that I want, and really that price matters.
Yeah, exactly. And so here's what I like this quote here. Seba Brown saying shorting in this market is suicidal. I would disagree, but remember, I'm day trading. So yeah. I'm not shorting anything overnight. I'm not holding over the weekend. I have an out to every single, like I have a stop on Tesla, which is risking not a heck of a lot. And that's what you really want to do. Like, you want make sure you have it out, but then find something that's relatively weak. Like Micron is a dog right now, and showing you that it's that. And that's the way it is. I was saying take some out on Tesla, so that if it breaks this little tight consolidation here, okay, fine, I'll take the hit on the second part, but that's not the end of the world. I've made my scalp trade, and we're able to take some profit, and then we'll be essentially flat on the trade if it does break higher. We do have something from Brendan, so let's go to Brendo.
William's still speaking. There is a Q&A portion of this event that's going to come as well once the main part is done. Just to summarize, though, here are all the important comments that have come from this so far as Williams is concerned. Really nothing we haven't heard or earth-shattering as of yet, just as GDP will contract slightly this year before rebounding in 2024. But I'll let you know as more comes out here. Again, a Q&A is going to be a part of that. $324 million to buy currently, guys.
What's your opinion on that?
So quickly, I missed the imbalance there it was a buy-side imbalance. That's all that really matters. So we're going to you want to talk about the strength in the market in a second. I'm not even going to adjust my trailing stop. I'm just going to punch out of Square. I'm not adjusting anything. I am just punching out of Square. I was going to move my trail. Forget about it. Let's just get out of that one. It's at the low of the day, so it's close enough anyways. We can always ring the register. Congratulations! Find relative strength or weakness where you can. So you were making the point, we're at yearly high. So pull up, you have the ES chart right now? Because I don't have it up.
Yes, sir. It's right
I
here.
can get to it if you want, but
okay, yeah.
As long as you have it. There you go. Go to Obi's chart there for a second, guys.
I'll go to the weekly. Yeah, let's look at the weekly. Or the daily even. I think the daily is better. Okay.
Yeah, so there you go. So we're actually retesting the year highs. Like that's some of the strength. You are now into that range where we topped out on the year. We've broken out. We've already broken out. Kind of show that that's the okay. We broke out from that lower high. Now we're into the chop.
I think NQ is the one.
No, the NQ is stronger for sure. But the ES is what we talk about. The ES, the NQ back and forth either way.
Yeah. So NQ is making the year highs, right? So tech was relatively weak starting off the year, and then now we're making new highs. I think that's what I meant to say. Like do you think that's what's kind of fueling this move?
Well, it's some levitation. I think it does. It doesn't hurt that we just got some pretty bullish talk on the economy from the Fed, from Williams anyways. I shouldn't say the Fed, but from Williams, that's certainly been true. Okay, Tesla actually rejected the lower high again. And I already showed you guys, like Meta's super strong. I chose to get out of it and didn't really get back in. I did say I would look for this after 330. It's a $300 million to buy. I probably missed my shot. That's not a huge buy imbalance for the end of the month. So I don't know if I like getting back in, chasing it too far. Probably try to get something a little bit tighter to 211 if that's even possible. We're still not breaking 165 on Meta. But it is something to be said about we have an unbroken, just banger sort of long kind of day. Now it is my style to look for those tops and find resistance. I like to mean revert trade.
Yeah.
It's a style of mine. You don't always have to do it or find relative strength or weakness because it's the lowest hanging fruit. Like that's why I'm in Micron. Because the way I see it, short Micron, I don't know why I wasn't shorting Micron all day, quite frankly. That's just stupidity, right? Like look at what the market is doing. Look at what the NASDAQ is doing. Look at what Micron is doing. Is there a short in this market better than Micron? And why did I not just get filled at 55? Moves to 56. That's stupid. But yeah, is there a better short than Micron in this market? Like any time it looked like a decent short, it was good. Every single time it looked like a short entry. Since the open, short off of this level, short everything off of 61.50 to 60. Now short the consolidation here. It never even got to VWAP. It's not even letting you, you're not even allowed to build a full position at VWAP on this thing. It gets up there and the sellers can't even bring it above. And we had Michael Loss talking about VWAP this morning and why it's an important indicator. So I know I'm counter trend. It's not always a fun thing. Apple is still rejecting 165. This is why I'm not chasing Meta up here. I didn't have the price that Sharif had on Meta. And I got out a second time when I didn't need to. I could have held that to the high of the day, but I got tricked out by the sellers at 25, and then I held the rest for 11. So there's longs to be had. If you're still in it, trailing stops are probably not a bad idea. Tesla is still rolling over. At least it looks like it's a why Tesla market continuous highs, Tesla lower high not going. Right? So I'm working this one for the short side. I have a very tight stop. I'm not bidding, and I probably won't take anything out till it gets to the low sixes. However, you should always bid. If I'm going to get out in front of 6 even or get something out in front of 6 even, I should have a bid in front of 6 even. So there you go. I just threw that bid in the 20s, out in front of that 206 even on Tesla, previous high back over here, little consolidation there. I think it could dip into it. If we get an adjustment on those imbalances, I will let you know. But in the time being,
hola, like and subscribe today.
Hola. It's going to be a good one. So it's going to be like 13 degrees this weekend.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I was seeing that like next week we're going to get warmer days.
Yeah.
Finally, that's good. We've had a I wouldn't say a harsh winter, but definitely a little chilly. We've had a couple serious storms, but
like for Canada, it hasn't been that bad.
Yeah, no,
every winter is cold as hell here, bro.
Yeah.
Don't listen. No matter what these other Canadians tell you, every winter's cold as all hell, bro. Like, it just. I'm not like I was born here. I'm born here.
The past couple of years we've had some.
It wasn't that bad.
It was not.
But it's always cold as hell, right?
Yeah.
And when the snow is really hard, it's always too much snow to shovel. Like I'm just saying, like I'm keeping it real. I'm not trying to be one of those people like, yo, I'm barbecuing when it's -5. That sure as hell ain't me.
Yeah.
That's for damn sure. Like I'm not doing any of that nonsense. I know it's damn cold.
Yeah.
But it is getting warmer, which is good. I am going to be maple syruping it up this weekend. I probably told you guys in the morning show. By the way, going to get tests out here. The rollover
look
is
at those
real.
cells. Yeah, those
the rollover is now.
Yeah.
Gimme. I just got my fill. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Just took the short side off these tops. But that means I'll be boiling maple syrup at my in-laws, and then I get like a year's supply worth for my work. It's actually a lot of work. I'll try to get some pictures.
That's a lot of pancakes.
I'll try to get some pictures and videos. Dude, I put maple syrup on everything. Pancakes, waffles, I put that ish in my coffee to sweeten it. Like, I don't care.
Nice.
You're making
And it's like natural.
Yeah, I'm making maple
like
candies. Trust
beautiful.
me, you do everything with that. If you ever go like a Pioneer Village or anything, like it was actually a pretty important sweetener. Like people would use that instead of sugar because it was more abundant to be able to get just tap trees. And then I learned that they tap different types of trees in Germany and make syrup out of other trees. But here, it's all about that maple syrup. It's all about the shorts right now. And Jordan Israel Peterson. Okay, I see what you're doing there. 700 million volume on Mullen. Mullen did 700 million shares today.
Yeah, it's been the top leader, volume leader for every now and then for the past couple of weeks, I think. Yeah.
You know what's
it's
interesting?
Pretty crazy.
So it looks like that's not doing anything, but look at 13 here. On that much volume, you could make money as a day trader. You could really make money. You can be long 13 and 1/10 of a cent, and you can be getting out for a half a penny at an average price.
I think that's what might be happening there.
Oh, the damn sure that's what's happening. It's
The
not
top
happening with
volume leader, for what Brad said, for a week. I've been watching it up and down for a couple. Yeah.
But it did this at 10. I was doing it. I was in there for a bit at 10 when it did it. Like I was in. Where was it? It was this. Yeah, no, it wasn't this day. No, it was here. I was doing it on the way down. See, that's the problem. I was doing it at 10 when it was on the way down. It was probably much better on the way up to be taking these longs.
So what you're saying is it's kind of a prop trader's dream right now.
Well, I wouldn't go that far because I wasn't watching.
Not that far?
No,
I mean, it's a top volume leader in,
I wouldn't go that
the
far.
whole market.
I wouldn't go that far because I don't know what it looked like down there. Like it looks like it was good, but I see a wick on a chart. What are the fills you're actually getting down there? That's the question you have to ask yourself. Anybody can look at the candle wick down to 13. Are you even getting fill down here?
Yeah,
that's what I want to know. You're getting fills down at 13 outside of this one time. All those could be fugays. And then that one looks kind of real, 13.10. Like I don't know what you can get. You have to be on the stock. That's why simulation is good to learn, but until you're taking fills, you don't know what you can actually get. And if you don't know what you can get filled, you have no idea how you can lever up your trading. You're going to develop a strategy, and if you develop it all in simulation mode without any development in live, you'll never know if it's scalable.
Right.
It'll be impossible to tell. So at some point, you do have to get into live trading or actually take fills on a stock and not just read a chart. We'll say start on sim mode to everybody because that's what you should do, but at some point, you really do need to be taking actual fills in the market to get a sense of how it's trading.
Yeah. That first 15-minute candle really brought in the market. It just green, and then once we started this, everything just starts to come down, and now we do have 20 minutes left. I got stopped out of the short, but the short was still there. So like again, I got to work on getting back into the trade when it kind of comes back into play. But we miss trades. We miss trades every day here, and it's part of life, part of being a trader, and like not getting tilted, not getting FOMO is also a big part of it, I think.
I'll tell you what one of the hardest things to do, and you haven't been doing this well. It's not easy sitting here and talking over ideas, asking smart questions, and trying to be actually insightful for everybody while focusing on your trading.
Yeah.
And so I like that you were focusing on the one stock. You do miss trades from time to time. You got to be able to move on. Like, what do you see next?
Yeah.
Because I'll do it, and you'll get that sense of FOMO. Like I was literally looking at the chat and missed a fill that I really needed to take. It happens. You guys have probably seen it happen to us from time to time again. I've been calling up a stock and then missing out on an order that I should have gotten out there, and you're trying to manage what we're doing here live for you guys, for free, by the way. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. As we said, what in the hell?
What's going on over there? Oh, maple syrup.
I mean, okay, so that's not exactly what it's going to look like, but it's not that different. It's not, I mean, obviously you did. That's like the worst Photoshop that you could have possibly done.
Yeah, what is that? It's like
Is this the best we can do?
Come on, man. We got ChatGPT now. We got all these AIs. What are you doing?
That's the best we can do.
on.
I mean, are we kidding me? That's great. That's fantastic. No, it's it does kind of look like that. So we'll be doing there'll be a big gigantic pot the size of a bathtub that'll be constantly boiling. You'll be lugging sap from one of the storage barrels to it constantly. You'll be getting sap from the trees, from buckets, like lugging buckets of sap.
How heavy are those buckets? Like I would assume that like raw sap is like pretty heavy, no?
Yeah, so they can get a little heavy. I mean, like it is what it is. It's a good workout. I'm not gonna complain. Like it will be my workout.
I mean, the reward is the syrup, so like it's all worth it. It's 100%
The first year I went up and did it, because it's my in-laws, right? I was like, this is ridiculous. This is not a fun way to spend a weekend. And I was all pissed off. Like I want to be resting and chilling and having a beer, and I'm working my ass off all weekend. And then after that, when you get the fruits of your labor, or you're around the campfire at the end of the day, having a dog and a beer, like that was pretty cool, because you actually worked it's a different kind of work when you do that. That's another story I'll tell in a second. But it was amazing when we finally got all that maple syrup, and I'm like, I'm doing this every year if this is what I get.
Nice.
Every year. Oh, so the other thing is, when I was in high school, I'm not saying you got to do this, but when I was in high school, I remember I wanted to make some money for university, and there was all kinds of opportunities, like what are you going to do? And so I ended up working at a supply chain place, right? So I was loading trucks. Right? And then I worked the night shift because you made more money working the night shift. So you make a little bit more coin working overnight. So I was loading the back of like a semi-truck with just, it wasn't Walmart, or it was like one of those places, just loading skiffs and whatnot. And I was just a young kid. The type of satisfaction you get from that, the life lessons you learn from doing that, like working with your hands or doing like manual labor, it kind of teaches you some things that you learn about yourself that maybe you don't. When it comes to pushing yourself, hard work, what you do or do not want to do with life. It is a ridiculously satisfying thing. Yeah. I will tell you this right now. When I finished that shift and got in the morning, got home, I felt just as good about myself and my day as I do when I'm trading here. It's like whatever some people will be like, oh, but I would never want to lift boxes. I'm telling you right now, like that. So anyways, I'm not saying everybody has to go do something physical or do a labor job or just try something different. But I think it's incredibly valuable perspective. I met some really fantastic people that gave me great advice as well during that time that came from all walks of life. And you've got to step outside of your comfort zone. Like I knew where I wanted to go at that time. I wanted to be an accountant. Thank God that never happened. But that's where I wanted to be. So you wouldn't think that I'd want to take a summer job loading boxes, but it paid really well, by the way. For a high school kid, it paid really well.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
What else?
Market's still coming down. We got like 15 minutes left until the close. What are these imbalances looking like?
Still a buy somehow.
Still a buy. But
Market be going down, though.
He might be using that liquidity. I don't know.
Oh, Brendo? Sorry.
Just watching a smaller bank, guys, moving back to the upside. This Metropolitan Bank Holdings Corporation that came out after the close yesterday with a update to their financials that was better than expected after a pretty ugly day yesterday. Downside, this thing gapped up this morning, running into the close. We're almost back to essentially where it started in the pre-market yesterday on that flush for MCB right now on a big push.
Oh my God! I forgot about that MCB. We kind of obviously focus on other things. When it's Friday, it's easy to start talking ideas, whatnot. Ponzi, Fonzie. It's just like I look up at the chat, and for some reason you're there again. What do you get when you mix an accountant with an airplane? A boring 747. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good accounting joke. In first year, I remember my in accounting 101 essentially. Like the prof had it lined up, and he's like, he has the entire class, and he says, "I want the first third of the class to stand up, or we put our hands up, or whatever it was." And he goes, "You guys are going to work for the big 6 accounting firms." And he goes, "You guys," and he goes, "Everyone else in the middle." He goes, "You guys are either not going to be accountants, or you're going to end up just kind of doing like middle range, whatever, work at a corporation or whatnot." And then he goes, the other third stood up. He goes, "You guys are going to be the bottom of the class, and you're going to work for," oh, I shouldn't say this. "You're going to work for the CRA." That's kind of like the IRS. I really shouldn't have said that. I just realized that's a bad joke to make because I just made fun of the.
I mean, you didn't say it. Your professor did, right?
I won't tell you the professor's name, but essentially he was making fun of the. It's the CRA is kind of like the IRS in the States, basically saying the worst people would work there.
I was sad, but that joke cheered me up. Nice.
Oh, I should not have said that.
We're trying.
Anyways, moving on. Yeah, by the way, I will let you guys know if I get audited this year after saying that, I 100% will tell you guys. I probably deserve that. It's fine. Whatever. I don't care. Yeah, so the shorts are in. It's still working. Hold on to them. I'm probably not going to get audited.
You think we might need to change this in the last 10 minutes?
Hell no. We're up 1.4%. Hell to the no, we're not changing that.
Just
No.
in case we have a no? Not
It
at
is-
all?
There is no chance. We're probably bouncing. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking Micron I'll hold. Tesla, I'm not even sure I want to. So while this is happening, like, the market's rolling over. Tesla's bouncing off 06. I don't need to hold Tesla. Tesla, I don't have to hold. I can hold on to Micron. I'm getting out of Tesla. It's showing some strength here. We're going into 350, and Prad just asked me my max push-ups. Chat's asking me my max push-ups. I actually don't know. The last workout challenge I did for last year, I do not ever do New Year's resolutions. However, in 2022, I set a goal for myself of being able to do the Bring Sally Up push-up challenge. And that is hard. I not even close. Like, I think I got 60%. It's like this cadence song. You can find it, like, it's basically like goes Bring Sally Up, Bring Sally Down. So on the up, you're up. And when you're down, you have to hold it for a couple of counts. There's a part where you hold it for like 10 seconds, and it's like a 3.5-minute song or 4 minutes or whatever it is. And you're essentially doing push-ups with a static hold.
The hold makes it so much harder.
It's so hard.
So much harder.
I got like 60% through Bring Sally Up, and I couldn't get past that. So
I
it was
can
kinda
do about
crazy.
five push-ups.
You need more than 5 push-ups. Yeah. Anytime somebody
At least
tells me something
5.
like that, it's because you've never pushed yourself. Promise you. I can get you to do 10 push-ups right now. I promise you would too.
No, I've done more in the past, but as my physical abilities might be right now.
I'll show you one
Maybe
David
5.
Goggins video. You'll do like 50 on the first day. No,
By the end of the week?
no, on the first day. Most
Wow.
people have no clue how capable they are when it comes to physical because you've never pushed yourself. Like if you've trained or been an athlete, then you've probably gotten to the part where a switch hit. I ran track. I was a star track athlete in high school. I thought I was really good. And then I went to university, and it wasn't until second year university that I ran a race and was like, oh, wait a minute. That's 100%. Second year university after running track all through high school, being a school athlete of the year and all that BS. Second year university, I ran a relay and was like, I just pushed myself for real. And my coach, you know what it took? My coach benched me at provincials in the 4x4 because he didn't think I was running to my potential. He took me off the team. I had to watch the team get a silver medal there. That's like state championships essentially. He pulled me off the team. We got to nationals,
That's tough.
and he put me back on the anchor leg. And I ran a 3-second PB in the 400, which is impossible to do unless you were never pushing yourself in the first place. So trust me when I tell you, you're more than capable of more. Imbalances in 1 minute, I'll get to them. I'm out of Tesla. I'm holding Micron for the absolute bottom. We'll see where it goes. This is all from the morning, by the way. So if you see Mullen in here, that's all the morning stuff. It's residual. It doesn't really matter. So we can kill time for that minute. I'm not going to take any new trades. I'm going to hold on to this short. Hopefully, Micron flushes to 60 even, but I do have a trailing stop in at 50.
Yeah, I might take a piece of Amazon into the close. I don't know, like a quick scalp or something. But yeah, no, I'm definitely going to be waiting for this 50 to hit, these imbalances to come in to see if there's any trade potential, right? It's just Amazon's just been kind of in this range. So if we do break the range off of the imbalance, that could be a potential trade.
Yes.
But I don't know. I'm just still waiting, right? We got about 10 seconds. We got 15 seconds. 15 seconds. All right. So let's see. This is it's going to come up. Amazon on here. Let me just sort this. Amazon 214 to 16. All right. Let's see. Okay, it should update.
PCG is the biggest one. PCG is that's a power company. $2 million to buy. Wells Fargo, $1 million to sell. Bed Bath & Beyond, $1.2 million to sell. I'm shocked. Intel, $1.8 million to sell on Intel. Apple to buy, 1 million. 1 million shares on Apple, essentially. C3 AI, 900,000 to buy. That's interesting. Amazon to sell. It's a bit of a mixed bag, but it's mostly to the buy side. 2.1 million buy side imbalance. I don't see Micron there, but C3 AI being 900,000 to buy is a little bit interesting. What'd that do? Nothing. Okay, well, if that holds, if it's still 900,000 Come 355, there might be a trade on C3AI. I said I would hold on to Micron into this with a trailing stop. I'm going to tighten up my stop because it's a buy and balance of 2 billion shares, which means if it breaks, now I'm going to go to 40, just a little bit tighter here. I just want to have myself an out while giving it a chance to go, especially if things pair off. So that's my last trade of the day. Kind of would have looked for, like, I would have preferred if it was flat to a sell, being in a short position, but 2 billion to buy, pretty strong move. If you happen to have a long that's still valid, it could get put on. I'm kind of looking around like Apple.
Yeah, NQ's coming down too.
Yeah, but the market's coming down on
Yeah.
this. So
NQ's printing its second red candle on the 15.
yeah, I'm not going to force it. And someone said, so Neil, your coach was good. So my university coach was the head coach for Canada at Sydney. He was a very fantastic coach, and it's kind of sad. Like he actually developed Parkinson's while we were in school. By the time I graduated, he kind of wasn't able to coach anymore. He was actually a great motivator and a good coach. But having a good mentor, motivators in your life is super important. It doesn't matter what you do. Find somebody that pushes you out of your limits. Find somebody that holds you accountable. Because I'll tell you right now, when he left me off the team, I was pissed off. I did not celebrate the way that I should have when my team won. I was in a bad mood. I was literally having the meat of my life that weekend. I was never in better shape and faster than on that day. And that's when he left me off the team, and it was perfect. It was a perfect motivation, I'll be honest with you. Yeah. And I didn't take it right, but when I settled down for a couple of weeks, it was like, yeah. I saw the picture there. I'm not going to enter Apple long. It looks like it's a decent long here, but I'm just not going to do it. If there's confirmation at 55 that we're still looking buy side, and some of these are holding up, maybe there. But yeah, I'm going to stay away from that Apple. I've got my Micron. Micron's actually going back to the downside, so this looks pretty good. The retracement is still happening for today. I hope you guys are enjoying the show. Darwin, I don't know that I'm your coach, man. I think the best thing about Trader TV Live, it's because it's a group effort, right? The show would not work if you didn't get different perspectives, because you need to have Sean's aggression and scalping. You need to have my particular approach. I tend to be a little more cerebral. You need to have Brad flexing over there. You need to have Brendan being calm and giving us the news. And when Brendan's not here, I feel like we're trading blind. I really do. It's a strange thing, and I know we're used to it every now and then, but it's not the same. You want to have Sharif's energy. I love the fact that he got a better price than me on Meta. Stop, bro. It's great that. Oh, come off. Just take the compliment. You do. You had it. I was in the short. I didn't reverse into the long. I got into it late, and Sharif sniffed that out, went out really early. He was patient about it. I love his approach on the small caps as well. Obi, I think you're giving a great perspective to us. Focus on that one stock. Learn one thing when you're early on. Learn from Obi. When you start out as a trader, focus on one thing and do that well and then expand. He was focused on Amazon today. That makes a lot of sense. And we're a team effort around here, even Fahad.
Yeah, I think it's great, like being on the floor and seeing all these different traders with different styles. There's so much value in learning and like kind of adding on to your own style of like, okay, I can take this piece, I can take that piece, that makes sense, and kind of making your own kind of way to trade based off of the knowledge that's being dropped around here. It definitely is valuable, I think so.
Because you can't trade someone else's trades or ideas.
Yeah, because you don't know where they're going to get out. You don't know what they're thinking getting into the trade.
And
I mean,
exactly.
Like unless you predefine, like you talked about it before, then
even if you did.
Yeah.
And I remember this because when I was a trainee, and this is a true. Oh my goodness, Apple. Okay, so I should have taken Apple. I'll accept it. I'm getting out of Micron. I just got out of Micron on that pop. So look what just happened in front of 355.
Oh yeah.
I just told you guys, if at 355 it still sets up for a long, I might take the long if it looks like it's still a buy. It doesn't even wait for it. What the heck just happened? Unbelievable. So Google went up. It went from nowhere into a 1.3 million buy on Apple, 1.3 million buy on Google. Out of nowhere, that just happened into 355, and then they pair it off.
Yeah. Looks like covers to me. I don't know.
So they jammed buy orders in between into 355, and then they all just paired. Not all of them. No, Apple's still there. But Alphabet paired off. Apple's still there. That was a dirty move, man. And I just talked myself out of the Apple long. Look at that. Look at that. If longs are still valid and it's a 2 billion buy imbalance at the end of the month, just buy it. Just buy it. Just buy it. Next time you just buy it. So this is why you saw me just scramble to get out of Micron there. Look what just happened. Everything just jammed to the upside. Apple, what did Tesla do? Tesla did this. Okay, Tesla didn't do that much. That's not that much. Microsoft probably did. I'm sure Meta is like pretty amazing. Sharif just goes, I can't.
We're about to break this Amazon high,
Oh, wow.
which is crazy.
Oh, yeah. Well, for a second there, I forgot I was on camera. Yeah, wow. Yeah, wow. Now I know why Sharif is like, oh, man. I'm sitting there trying to compliment him on the meta lawn because you're not in it anymore. I know, but I'm not in it either. Holy crap, that was good.
Congratulations!
Wow. That's all I got to say. Yeah, so remember how we're still a bull? I know that was a good short off the top, but it's still a bull market, guys. I mean, come on. Next time, just go long. Meta was right at support at 355. Oh my goodness. Hold on to your longs, baby. We're still trending to the upside. Think long first. Only play relative stocks to the weak side. That is unreal. I should have been watching HYG. It's telling me the upward trend. I'll take that to heart, Adrian. I'll write that one down. I was starting to watch a little IWM as a suggestion when trading some of the names I look at.
go.
But what an absolute move to the upside that was. That's pretty impressive. You got the Amazon.
Yeah, I was almost
off
40.
and go to
I was
this guy.
40 cents too late. I was 40 cents too late. I don't know.
Did you make money on the trade?
So far, right now, I'm not out yet. I'm just watching this.
Don't-
The range hasn't fully broken yet. A breakout doesn't necessarily mean.
Get into Obi.
You know.
He's in the long. He's got it.
We'll see. Yeah.
Just make sure you pay yourself. We got 3 minutes here to the close.
Yeah.
We got 3 minutes. It's fine. Like I'll talk it for you if you want to manage your trade. In the
No,
last
it's
2
fine. I
minutes,
mean-
we're day trading. We have to be flat at day trade the world at the end of the day. We have to cover our position. So if you want to handle your position, I'm not in anything right now. So if you're in the long, you want me to just talk over it.
No, that's fine. I mean, I'm more than willing. I'm watching the tape here just to see if we kind of hold, and if we don't, I'll be out. Like it is like 3 minutes before the close, so just want to look for any type of changes. Like we are still kind of reserving and holding above the range, so I like that. And then into the last minute, yeah, maybe some covers of like shorts who are like holding and hoping from these tops, but we're kind of like breaking. Now, okay, so about almost 20 cents above. We got about 2 minutes left. I want to see a little convincing. You know what? Let me just take that.
Yes.
There-
I'm living vicariously through your
There we
long.
go.
That's what the hell I'm talking about.
That's what I was looking for. Oh,
That's what the hell I'm
thank you.
talking about. We'll do this one too.
All right.
Gonna have to get you guys some of your own out there.
Yeah.
We'll do.
I think that was pretty solid. I actually missed that. Like that tape started coming in under 103, right? Like.
Oh, yeah, it started early.
it started coming in under 103, and I missed that by 20 cents, which is crazy. And I still managed to get 20 cents. It's still going.
Did you make money?
I caught a piece. That's all
Then it
I
doesn't
wanted.
matter.
I caught a piece.
You got
I caught
the
a
trade.
piece.
Ain't nobody else here got that one.
I caught a piece.
And you got a compliment here from it was Kevin in the chat. He said you're incredibly humble, loves what you do. He said congratulations and good job. I'll tell you right now, Obi is a sieve, man. He listens. The force is strong with this one. He's constantly listening and learning all the
You
time.
got to.
I'm telling you, man. That's how you know you're going to get a bit of a winner here. 1 minute to go. I don't know who's going to ring the bell. Who's going to ring the bell? I go. I don't know. Now it's like a fight. 2 seconds ago, there was nobody to ring the bell. Now these guys are going to fight over who's going to ring the bell. So I think Justin's going to be on the bell. He's ready. Justin's dressed as if he wants to do some maple syrup harvesting with me this weekend. So he's locked and loaded. See, I need to get one of those. I'm the only Canadian that doesn't have one of those shirts. So 30 seconds. It's been a fun show. It's been a fantastic one. The market is going to possibly end on the highs. I don't want to jinx it here. Thank you guys for everything. It's been an absolute banger. I know Sean is having an early start, but filled in those shoes well, all of you guys. Everyone in the back is excited as well. So 10 seconds to go. Justin is on the bell for us. The lumberjack, Paul Bunyan himself in 4, 3, 2, and... That is as Canadian as it gets. The boys in the back are excited. That's Ian. I don't know. I don't see Spencer, but definitely a good one.
Nice.
See, it's still a bull market. It's still a bull market.
We're making
So
money.
I'm hoping you guys enjoyed it. That was amazing. It's a heck of a lot of fun when obviously when the market finishes up. I'll tell you this right now, whether you're red or green, when you have a good day, it feels better if the market closes on the high. Like I've had days where it's like we're up the same amount, but the market's at the low of the day, and it's like, it was a good day, but you don't have that same good feeling. When this happens, everybody can be happy. So Brendan, we know it was good. How good was it today?
Yeah, nice, guys. One plus right across the board here for pretty much everything outside the NASDAQ composite, 0.82, 1.68 there for the 100. So the big ones doing the heavy lifting again today. 1.1, 1.4 there for 1.5 for the Russell 2000, 1.25, 1.4 as well. I was just double checking. So we're looking at about 3.4 on the week for the S&P. And then the Qs or the NASDAQ about 3.25% on the week. The Dow about 3.2%. So they're all there or thereabouts, 3.25 to 3.5 right across the board for all three. 3 weeks in a row as well. 3 weeks in a row as well. To the upside, one of those. I have a pen.
That's how you do 3. Or you do it like, is it, what's
it,
the one you're not supposed to, how was it in, what happened in Inglourious Basterds?
I think it was this,
he did this
versus this.
He did this instead of,
it was this
he did
versus
this instead of this.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden you have one of the greatest scenes of all time.
Yep.
Which I love Quentin Tarantino, by the way.
Best movies, some of the best
He
movies.
does some, I mean, he's had a few that are kind of like, okay, but one of the most watchable, like if you can't watch Inglourious Basterds like a million times, I don't know what to say.
I want some scalps. I like that. That's my favorite quote. I'm like, I use it every day for trading. I'm like, I want some scalps, you know?
It's a great,
I like
great,
my scalps.
He's awesome. Let's just leave it at that. I want a personal thank you to not just yourself, Obi, for stepping in here, but Max did a heck of a job this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you guys for stepping in. I mean, can't wait to do it again. As always, going to go through the entire team. Fahad had to take off. Oh, now we're doing this? Okay, I'll do it this way. Fahad had to take off, but we're still pretty cool with him, even though we had to drop some knowledge to that clown. Every now and then we have some fun. Sharif did a bang-up job, great long on meta. Sean killed it all week, as always. I know he's enjoying himself over the weekend. Justin, thank you for ringing the bell. To Katrine, to Liz as well, our entire team. Brendo dropping the news. And, of course, Bradley on the ones and twos, dropping his beat. What are your plans for the weekend there, Brendan?
Leaving.
That's it?
That's it.
Well, I'm maple syruping this weekend. That's what the heck I'm doing. You don't have to go, but you got to get the heck out of here. Thank you guys so much. We're back on Monday. We're Trader TV Live.
Take care.
Catch you on Monday. See you guys.
See ya.